The podcast on Haunted Hill will contain spoilers and swearing.
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
Make some of this, Michael. Be one of us.
I didn't tell you my name.
Hang up.
I didn't tell them my name.
They're all a part of it. They're all parts of it.
Come. It is time to keep your appointment.
Hello and welcome to the podcast on Haunted Hill, episode 176. My name is Gav.
My name is Dan.
And we are your intrepid hosts of the horror jungle of filmage. But tonight we're not actually. Generally are. From the title you could tell we're a bit of a horror-centric podcast. We're not this evening. We are getting our action groove on.
We're pumping some iron, Gav. We're going out on a revenge mission.
Do it! Yeah.
Do it now.
Do it now. We are doing Commando and Taken.
We are doing them. And the reason for that is that this episode is a patron pick. Before we get into who the patron is and all that good stuff, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Can't complain. Watched literally no films. Oh, actually, I'm pretty good. I had a health check and I was all okay. So I should say, actually, I'm pretty good. You know.
Yeah, that is good to know.
I haven't been watching many films, but I suggested to Daisy to watch Breaking Bad. And I started watching the first episode with her, and I was like, oh, I remember this. This is great. Because I know you haven't seen it. And I just cracked on. I was forging through the boring bits with Skylar, which people would know. You don't know what that means. That's his wife. It's a bit family stuff at first. I was getting through that because I'll just get all to the bits where he's making meth with Jesse in the RV in the desert.
Just give me the drugs.
Yeah, that sort of stuff. Got through that. Then it started seeing all the gangster shit and the Mexican cartels coming and just the street stuff. And I was like, oh, stop playing it all. And then binge Breaking Bad. And then I went and watched El Camino, which is the film which kind of shows Jesse. What happens to Jesse? But it's funny though, season because it's funny because you haven't seen it obviously. It's 5 seasons, but watching this again because I'd kind of forgotten it because about 10 years since I watched it. Got to the end of 4th season and it kind of wraps up nicely, but then it's like, why is there another season? And then it's another season where it kind of all goes quite dark and quite shit, and it just ends up being all a lot more death and destruction and the finales of people and stuff. So I was thinking, if you wanted to have a happy ending, you could finish on season 4. But if you're like, yeah, I'm going to be a nihilist, I want more, and watch season 5. But it's funny, I feel like it's a weird TV show to have like a bit where you could go, you could finish it, and that'd be it. But there's another one if you want more stuff. But yeah, and then I just started watching Better Call Saul again. Which is
I do know that is the spin-off, yeah.
So, really good show still. Really impressed how great that show is, actually. I still recommend watching it to you one day.
I definitely will one day.
Just one day, just sit back and go, I'm just going to sit and watch this now. And
there's 2 shows out of all the shows people ram into my ears that I should watch. People tell me to watch Game of Thrones. People tell me to watch, Dexter and all this other stuff.
Yeah, I did Dexter. It's alright.
There's 2 shows I do want to watch. Breaking Bad. Yeah. And Sons of Anarchy, and I do really want to watch both of those. I've just not seen either of them.
I tell you what, at some point I'm going to watch Sopranos because I've never watched that.
Yeah, I've never seen that either because I've heard it's a shit ending.
Game of Thrones, I don't really like fantasy, so you know,
you wouldn't like that.
No, but Breaking Bad, I normally get to 5 seasons of things. Walking Dead 5 seasons, I gave up. Dexter 5 seasons, I think it was, and I went, that's enough, I can't anymore. Do you know what I mean? You get to a point where you're like, whatever. Yeah. So 5 seasons of something's enough. But I do actually have the Blu-ray box set of Breaking Bad if you ever get stumped with it coming off Netflix. Maybe. I don't know if it would. I'm not sure. Probably wouldn't, I suppose. But yeah, fantastic show still. I was really surprised how good that show is.
Very good. Yeah. I've unfortunately I've not watched anything either since we last recorded. Well, that's a lie. There is one. Well, there's 2 things I watched. One of them was a story for our patron in a moment, about our patron in a moment. The only thing I revisited, because I saw it was talking of coming off of Netflix, it was being removed, and it'd been on my list, and I wanted to catch it again, and that was Life from 2017.
Yeah, I like that film.
Oh, that was... I'd seen it once before, but this time around it was even better. The creature in it is really good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really good effects.
And although it is kind of just Alien, really, it's a remake almost.
It's
not
nice because all the cast are likeable people, you know. And it's got a bit of budget to it, and like it's nice for those guys making a film. It's a contained film. It's like one area, sort of, so to speak.
I thought it was really good, and I actually popped it up a notch to a 7 out of 10 from 6.
Yeah, it's in my film collection.
Yeah, it's decent, really decent. There is another film I watched, which I'll get onto in a moment then. But before we talk about our patron and my holiday with him recently, let's talk about what you've been up to, because I know you recently went to Horrified.
Yeah, as most people know who on the social medias will know, we went to, as Deadbolt Films, Horrified, a new convention in the south of England, because most of the horror conventions are kind of Midlands and upwards. Birmingham, Manchester, that sort of thing, a lot of them. So it's nice to have a new one started, and they went off with a bang with it and make it like a proper big event. Robert England was there, Lance Henriksen, loads of people. Really, it was fun being there as a trader with people with other stalls, because we got really friendly with all the other stalls, all the other people selling stuff and that. And they're all like, oh, you got to come to the other conventions. And it's weird though, because we were selling ourselves as Deadbolt Films. We did make 350 quid from selling some comics, which was just on the side, sort of like, we've got these comics here and people were liking them. The Eldritch Lust ones obviously make good money because people like the tentacles and the smutty tentacle comics.
I love the octopuses right up inside them.
But which is really interesting, because every person that bought those comics were all female.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not men buying those comics, so which is really interesting. And we made loads of friends there. If you are listening to the show, because we promote the show, if you're listening to the show and we saw you, it was great to speak to you. It was tiring, pretty draining, but yeah, it's really good because we released Amanda on YouTube, so do check that out, people. If you like found footage movies, we released that the night before, so we basically, people would come up to the store and I'd be like, what you into? And someone would be like, I like slashers. Oh, okay, cool, take this flight. Okay, we made this movie and I'd pimp that out, and someone would go up and put it out on social media. I'd just see a thing for Shadow of Death and we'd be tagged in it, like Deadbolt Films, and they'd say, oh, we went up there and they said, what do you want to watch? What sort of thing's your thing? And I said this, and they gave me this, and I said, and I loved it, and then they sort of pimp it. And loads of people were watching all of our other stuff as well, and it's really cool. I got to speak to Andrew Robinson, who's the dad in Hellraiser.
Yeah. Which
was really, really interesting. And I was chatting to him, and I didn't realise, I looked down at his pictures, because they always have photographs of different films, and you could choose which one you want them to sign, which movie. And he was Scorpio in Dirty Harry.
Oh, wow.
He was the bad guy in Dirty Harry with the nose plaster and the really crazy hair and the turtleneck. I was just like, oh my God, you're in Dirty Harry. It's like, wow. And then we talked about Clive Barker a bit. And luckily, I didn't school him, because I thought I was going to have to school him, but actually he schooled me when I checked later on. I thought Clive Barker directed Warhead Rex, and he didn't. And he was like, no, I think Hellraiser is his first movie. And I was going to say, yeah. And I was going to go, I don't think it is. And I was going to start trying to debate with Andrew Robinson this. And I think Andrew Robinson's his name. I do apologise if I got that wrong. But no, he was right. But yeah, it was cool. It was a really good convention. Nice to meet lots of people and hang out with film people, film nerds, and just talk movies. Every person that go by, you're like, nice t-shirt, because they'd have like these amazing t-shirts. Then you'd just have like a next 5-minute, 10-minute discussion about Brain Dead or something. It was fucking great.
That's why I love wearing my horror t-shirts.
Yeah.
I was telling you before we recorded, I've got a new John Carpenter t-shirt, which is basically all of his movies on VHS stacked up in a pile, but big enough that you can read them all.
It is pretty cool.
And I went out and about for the first time in a long time for some drinks with friends, And everywhere I went, people were talking to me. People knew who John Carpenter was. It would start conversations. I had 2 or 3 conversations with people about it. So that was fun.
Netflix are going to have a John Carpenter documentary come out.
Yes.
I don't know when.
Love it.
I'm not even sure it's made it yet, but I know that's been announced. Yeah, so it's really cool. We're going to try and go some more horror conventions because it was just really good fun.
I saw some bears.
Nice.
Yeah. Went to a gay bar. No, I didn't. I went to the zoo. Yeah.
I was trying to go along the bare cheeks bottoms thing, but you just went straight to
the gay bar.
Yeah.
No, I took my kids to the new Bristol Zoo is moved, and we went there a couple of years ago, but we didn't get very far because they were tiny. But this time around, we got to do the whole zoo, and it's a much bigger space. And the only reason I mentioned this is because it was so fucking cool as horror fans, and obviously having recently watched Cocaine Bear. And there's this bit called the Bear Walk, where you walk through. You're basically about 100 feet above a forest on a walkway, with fence either side, of course, and there's 3 grizzly bears that live in the forest below.
That's
and you
cool.
get to watch them. Yeah, and Jack was so hyped because there's 2 animals he wanted to see at the zoo: a slime monster. I don't know what that is, but he wanted to see a slime monster at the zoo, and a bear. And when he saw the bear, he was so stoked. His heart was racing because I was holding him, and his heart was racing in his chest, and he was so happy and couldn't believe he was seeing a bear. And then in the next enclosure, which you can't really see where the seam is, but there isn't a seam, there was 2 wolverines. And he was like, but that's not Wolverine. I was like, no. Wolverine isn't a guy in a yellow suit played by Hugh Jackman. Wolverine is a real animal. And there was these 2 wolverines, and they were fucking vicious, man. They were looking up at the people looking at them like they wanted to climb up and eat us. They were looking badass. They're like a small bear, but with like the legs of a cat, like a lion. So you can imagine a bear, but with like longer, very fast legs and massive razor blade claws. They looks badass. But I just wanted to mention that because 20 minutes from my house lives 3 grizzly bears and 2 wolverines, and now I feel very pleased about that.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool, really cool. So that was a little day out we had. One other thing I want to mention before we get
that's
into...
near your house?
20 minutes.
Oh, I'll come down with Elijah sometime.
It's really cool. Yeah. I'd love to do it again, so we'll do it. One other thing I wanted to mention before we talk about our Patreon and get into that Patreon goodness is this is the first podcast we've recorded in 11 years of podcasting where we haven't used, and this is not a promotion in any way, but we haven't used Skype. We've relied on Skype for 11 years.
That sounds a bit like an advert.
And Skype.
Do you have problems with Skype?
And Skype closed as a business on the 1st of May.
Well, it's weird though, because I turned on my iMac, because my iMac's so old. I'm actually to use now my laptop here. My iMac's so old I can't update to I can't Teams. There isn't even such a thing. I can't even find it. But I logged into Skype because, like you said, and Skype just came up as normal on my iMac. Yeah,
it just doesn't do anything though.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So we've upgraded and we're using Teams, but it's exactly like Skype, really. Probably not quite as good, but yeah, I just wanted to mention that because it's quite historical, really, for us.
I was here over the years, Skype getting dissed a bit, and I was like, no, Skype's fine.
Yeah, I think
have no
Skype's
issue.
I miss it.
It does what it's supposed to do. It's like, yeah.
And it was, considering it was free.
I don't know what this can do, which is any different, to be honest with you.
Not a lot, yeah.
It might be able to record it.
I think you look a bit more crystal clear.
Yeah, I do look a bit more alcoholic, even though I don't drink. I look a bit really like stone pale, but I think it's just because I've got the curtains open there.
Gav said that I've said I look like an 80s American wrestler today.
He does. He's got a really bald, shiny head and a big beard.
I shaved my head today.
Beard.
Or a big bushy beard.
Anyway, Horrified was amazing, so that was good. Please do watch Commando, people.
Yeah, and we'll promote that again.
All right. Some people don't like it. Someone really liked it and is putting on all the found footage groups saying you got to check out this movie because they're like, it could be a cautionary tale for internet dating. I was like, it definitely could. And then someone said, it's I got 9 minutes into it, 13 minutes into it, no more. And she said, mate, it does get better, and someone else said it doesn't. I was like, yay, cool. I can't make everybody happy.
Keyboard warriors.
No, not one person ever make anyone happy ever.
Well, there is one more holiday little sort of getaway that I'll talk about, but before I do that, it involves our patron. So, talking to patron, big. Let me just. Oh, that was the wrong box. Hang on a minute. Sorry, that was my cockery. Here's the crown. So, our king patron of the episode is RJ McCready. We've never done a clap before.
No.
I've never had the clap before. Well, if anyone's going to have the clap.
It's going to be
RJ. Thanks. RJ McCready. That's why we're covering Taken and Commando, because he has selected those two for us to have a little. Because we do cover horror films, but we sometimes go down the more sort of cult or action or sci-fi. And we've covered Arnie in the past. Covered him in mayonnaise and licked it all off. So,
it tastes so weird.
Get off me! Don't lick me.
Sticky.
So yeah, RJ selected those two, and I also coincidentally last weekend was on holiday with him. Yay! So me and his partner and their dog and my children and my wife all went on a little college trip. We went on a cottage holiday out into the middle of nowhere, about an hour away from Stonehenge.
Did you watch The Cottage?
We didn't, but we put aside some time in between all the children and dogs and everything else to sit down. We sent the women to bed, and we watched. We brought a selection of DVDs between us.
To bed with you, woman!
And we said, what should we watch? We there was only one choice really out of the 5 or 6 movies we brought with us, and that was John Carpenter's Big Trouble in Little China. Mm-hmm. And we sat down together with a couple of zero beers, and we just talked. We just did basically like me and you do on a podcast. We just talked over the top of it.
You done a commentary.
Yeah. And afterwards I said we should have recorded that really. It was brilliant. I loved doing it with him. We chatted for ages. Just, you know what John Carpenter's like. As soon as you start talking about him, you go down a million different routes. But that was fun, and I had a brilliant time with him on the holiday. And he also gave me a belated birthday present, which was a thick, badass Evil Dead 2 t-shirt, which I don't think I've shown you yet. No. It's really cool. It's funny because I was wearing a Street Fighter 2 t-shirt at the time, and he gave me a Evil Dead 2 t-shirt. So it was all about the sequels that day.
What was his reason for no Facebook presents?
On
your birthday?
What was his reasoning for? Oh, because he's not on Facebook anymore.
Oh, then that'd be that. So there you go. That's him out of it. I still find that so weird. I still find that so weird.
Yeah. Shout out to Sheila, one of our listeners. Sheila, I think your surname's Blaine. You sent me a lovely personal message in my inbox, so I appreciate that, Sheila. I'm glad you appreciate my impressions and funny mouth noises. I'm here to entertain you. I'll do some of those for you right now. There we go. It's a little mouth noise there.
Didn't really hear it, but yeah. Okay.
And I'll do some Arnie impressions during this as well.
Absolutely. So it's a bit more of an action-centric podcast today, people. Still genre in a sense. Commando, definitely in that 80s. There's a lot of blood. There's an arm chopped off.
That's such a good.
Yeah, it was nice watching this. I watched this on Disney. Because it's on the Disney Channel, and it's in very high definition. Yeah, I know. Yeah, of course it is. Right, I think we should have a break for Commando.
Okay, well, before that, I'm very sorry to derail you, but I'm going to read out RJ McCready's email.
Please do.
And then we'll take a break before we head to, not the jungle, actually, because I always think the whole film is set in the jungle, but actually it's not really. So before we head to the jungle for the last act. So here we go. Hello, you bearded podcasting brothers.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh.
Hello. So.
It's loads of people.
He says, so, I really went back and forth deciding what to pick for this episode. I was thinking perhaps a Vietnam double bill
Wow.
with Platoon and Full Metal Jacket. Wow.
Oh, fucking hell. That would have been deep.
That would have been too
Jesus.
deep.
Yeah.
Let's not rule it out. Or a Terry Gillingham special with one of my favourites as a kid, The Time Bandits and The Nightmarish Brazil. But then I thought, as you guys kindly give us patrons the opportunity to pick a couple of movies of our choice, that it actually gives a little bit of license to bring another genre to your horror podcast. So I decided to go for a couple of classic action flicks, Commando and Taken. This then allows for lots of cheesy quotes and impressions. He knows us well. He does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I would normally do a mini review of both movies, but I'm going to amalgamate them on this occasion. And the reason for this is because I think they are the same film, but done in different decades. Commando is so obviously an 80s action movie with Arnie in his prime. Over-the-top action sequences, memorable one-liners, and that always reliable, cheesy 80s song rolling on the end credits that stays in your head for days. Taken...
dude. Somewhere, dun, dun. It's so good.
We were singing that in the cottage, actually, funny enough.
Brilliant.
Taken, on the other hand, has a slightly different tone, more polished, more slick, and perhaps a little more plausible, with a haunting piano score over the end credits. I personally think it opened up the door to John Wick, which later came out in 2014, and in some ways, I'd like to think they're in the same universe together. Imagine that.
That's cool.
Hello. Imagine John Wick meets Ryan. Jesus Christ.
I have, though, when we get to it, I don't think I'll spoil it now. I have, when we get to it, the best fucking mashup ever.
Yeah, you did tell me about this.
I told you because I could not. I had to release myself to you.
Oh, hello. Same universe together. He says, all in all, absolute solid action flicks, and I can certainly rewind the VHS on them both. Be kind and rewind. Oh, and one more thing. Because all roads eventually lead to John Carpenter or Kevin Bacon or Nicolas Cage. Again, he knows as well.
Yeah.
Did you know that Jack Crow from Vampires 1998 actually said the line, "I will find you, I will hunt you down, and I will kill you"?
What did?
First, Jack Crow from Vampires 98, the John Carpenter movie. He actually said the line,
really?
"I will find you, I will hunt you down, and I will kill you."
Oh, so someone's just taken that and just kind of, at some point, even if they're just watching it and it stayed in their mind, and they're like, when they're writing the script, you know what I mean?
He finishes the email with, "Have fun, guys, and good luck."
Good luck. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that note,
let's kick off some steel drums.
Let's have some steam Bennett.
Let's eat some ice cream, feed a deer.
I can't wait to talk that montage. That's one of my favourite parts almost. All right. Let's have a trade of Commando.
They hunted him down.
You know, Colonel, we went to a lot of trouble to find you.
They murdered his friends. And they took the only thing he would kill for.
If you want your kid back, then you gotta cooperate. Right? Wrong.
Now, somewhere, somehow, someone's gonna pay.
Do you think that he's going to give us any problems?
You'll do exactly as he's told.
Hasta luego, fellas.
You're a funny guy, Sally. That's why I'm going to kill you last.
Are you gonna tell me what's going on or what?
No. Don't disturb my friend. He's dead tired. What are you doing?
Helping you get her back.
Remember, Sally, when I promised to kill you last?
That's right, Major. You did.
I lied.
If it's a mission no man can survive, he's the man for the job. Arnold Schwarzenegger, Commando.
Let's party.
Do you think that he is going to give us any problems?
He'll do exactly as he's told.
Hasta luego, fellas.
You're a funny guy, Sully. That's why I'm going to kill you last.
Commando. I won't. 1985, 18, 1 hour 30. I love it when it has. This is like 80s action movies. This is something that fucking films nowadays have lost. Exactly 1 hour 30. And I'm pretty sure Taken might exactly be the same too. I guess. Yeah, it's just the same. And if you put them both up alongside each other, I bet you'd be like, yep, that happens, yep, that happens, yep, that happens. Anyway, a retired Special Forces colonel tries to save his daughter who was abducted by his former subordinate. Okay, it's a bit of a weird thing. Could have given a bit more jazz to that, couldn't they? This was a weird one for me, because this was like, I had all these Schwarzenegger films fairly early on. My dad's friend recorded it off Sky TV for me as a kid. I was probably like 10 and I just went through all the Schwarzenegger movies. And Raw Deal was always like kind of shit. You could kind of see some reason it was a bit shit. Even as a kid, you kind of like, it just feels a bit shit. I don't know why. I watched it again, probably about within 10 years, and I was like, oh, this is awful. It's really bad.
And anyone could have been in that role.
It's terrible. And he was doing it just because under contract, and he had to go global, whatever it was, isn't it?
Going Globus.
Under contract, he had to do it. But then this is kind of after that. Obviously, we've got like the Terminator, which is perfect for Arnie because of the way he hit at the time. Everyone was saying to him, like, your accent will not get you work. It was really interesting. Really ended up helping him and becoming like his signature. You know, I just did an impression of him as I came on Commando. And this is filmed like kind of in between this and like Predators for me is like the one I think which makes him the star. I feel like it's John McTiernan directing. Do you know John McTiernan was supposed to direct this film?
Oh, really?
And ended up going off and doing Nomads with Pierce Brosnan instead.
Nice.
Which is funny. Then a year later, because Schwarzenegger said that for Predator, he saw Nomads and said he's right for it, but that would be such a short thing. I think this makes more sense that he was kind of already up for it. Then they watched Nomads as well and went, yeah, you've got to do this, because Nomads is nothing like Predator. So, and this is a weird one, like the front cover of this movie doesn't look like Arnie. It almost looks like the stereotypical big musty guy you saw on the front of all like cartoon type drawings on the front of like Spectrum games and things like that.
Nintendo games and stuff.
Yeah, like the typical like real big guy, and he's there in this like vest and that's it, but it's got grenades on it. And it's just like war paint over the face and just says Commando. And you're like, what is this? What is this movie? But it kind of looks like your Exterminator rather than your Terminator. Do you know what I mean? It feels like that a bit. But when you watch it, I watched it again for this movie, and like it's a lot more better production value than I think I gave credit to when I was younger. Because I had a fucking treasure trove. All of a sudden, I had these videotapes in my hands with like 2 or 3 movies on, with Running Man, Total Recall, all these different films. Do you know what I mean? No, not Total Recall, because that was a little bit later on. I had all the 80s ones. So you can sort of go through and go, this is a better one than that one, this is that one. And Predator was just like, oh my god, this is like fucking gold dust, this movie. But this Commando is kind of up there with it. It really was.
I think, so Predator, I agree, is his best, you know, especially from this era, but probably his best. You know, I think Terminator 2 is an incredible film, but that's bigger than Arnie. That's more than an Arnie film. But when you're talking about Arnie films, you're looking at like Predator, Running Man, Commando, you know, one-man army type Rambo style, you know, because that was what the 80s was about. It was the unbelievable one-man army, muscular, macho man who was taking on, you know, no bullets were touching him. His guns didn't ever need to be reloaded.
One of the subgenres on IMDb is actually one-person army action. I clicked it, and straight away first it came up, it was like John Wick, so I was like, oh, I'll have to go through these, because I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, me too. Commando, I probably came into that one a bit later. I think Running Man and Predator were probably my first real like Arnie movies. I think I saw Conan, and I remember me and my dad used to watch Red Heat, which is funny because it's Belushi, but again, it's not a very good film, and it's certainly not a great film for Arnie.
I went out my way actually to get a Blu-ray copy of Red Heat, just to give it a watch again. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it this time round. It's quite funny because it felt like that Eddie Murphy kind of type movie.
Yeah.
But it is Walter Hills, I suppose. But it has Arnie in it, so it's just... I don't know about Belushi, though. I feel like it could have been someone else.
But I think, going back to this, though, I think Commando is definitely... If you're looking at your quintessential Arnie in his prime movies, you're looking at Commando, Predator, Running Man, and then you can throw in like Total Recall and a couple of the others, but I think those are the three.
You're looking then 85, 86, 87 prime Schwarzenegger film.
What an absolute run for his career. He was on top of his game,
and also
Stallone was absolutely fuming,
and obviously Arnie's always been a fairly ripped person. Like, he likes working out because he likes to pump. He's always for him, it's like ejaculation. Is what it's, that's what he said.
Every time I pump, it's like I'm coming.
But for him, obviously, doing more and more movies, like, you're not going to have as much time working out as he was when he wasn't doing movies. He'd been working out all the time. Like, earlier this year, I didn't have much on. I didn't have much work on. I was down the gym and I worked out a lot. Now I fucking struggled to get down there, So I presume this is kind of like him still ripped to shit, and like in Predator, ripped to shit. And then after it's not as ripped. He's still ripped, obviously. It's Arnie.
Yeah.
But as the movies go on, he's not as ripped.
This movie and Predator especially, and Conan, they were about his body.
I suppose Terminator 2 he is, though, isn't he?
They were about, he was dressed most of that. But for Commando, Conan, and Predator, it was about his arms. Yeah. And we sound like bloody Always Sunny at this point. Mac and Charlie discussing Arnie's body. Remember, they were always talking about Predator, aren't they? Yeah. Muscle mass. Look at the muscle mass. The director of this, Mark L. Lester, strange career. I mean, just the 4 films he's most known for were Commando, another action movie with Dolph Lundgren and Brandon Lee, Showdown in Little Tokyo, which I'm a big fan of, from 1991. But then he did like some kind of more horror style stuff. He did Firestarter with Drew Barrymore, a Stephen King adaptation.
Is he just a director for horror for this?
I'm not really sure how he came upon it, really. He also directed Class of 1984, which is a really dark, brutal film as well.
Yeah, it is a strange one. I don't know if he would have been just on the studio roster, because obviously they wanted Fumiji, John McTiernan, and he went off to do Nomads and came back and did Predator with Arnie. Yeah. It's funny if John McTiernan had done this, because it would have been... Because John McTiernan... I wish he had and not done Nomads, because it might have been our fucking trilogy, because he then went and did next year Predator, the year after that Die Hard. Jesus Christ, just those 2 movies, you could retire and never direct another movie and be the king still. And which is funny, really. But yeah, if he'd have done this, though, I reckon he could have made this like your Die Hard.
What do you mean?
Well, just like the way he made Die Hard and just the way he directed that film, I reckon he could have done that with this, with the one person against other people. Obviously, it's a different movie, but imagine
that's a one-man army as well.
It would have been basically a mixture of Predator and Die Hard. Would have been the Commando. That would have been fucking really cool.
This film, you're right, the production this time around, with my reviewer's eye, pen and paper in hand as I watched it, the production is up there. James Horner's score is really good. I love the use of Caribbean steel drums to give you a bit of a tropical kind of flavour to it.
That with the saxophone, because of the era, it's such a... You'd think saxophone and steel drum should not exist together in the same world, and they do quite happily.
They make sweet music together.
the loop of this, as a hip hop fan since fucking 85, 86, when this came on, I remember this as being like, before I knew of looping, before I knew I could actually do it myself and stuff like that. I always wanted to take that din 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 din, and then just goes back again, and you just keep going that loop, and it's one of those, like, it's almost like 93 to Infinity loop. You could just listen to it over and over and over and over, and it's fine. No one's ever done it as far as I know. I'm sure someone probably has.
Let's make a record.
Is this one of the two films we're doing tonight? This is the trouble when I do the fucking both movies and I check out trivia. Sometimes they merge together and I get confused. One of these movies was going to be Die Hard 2, correct? Was it Commando? Was that the idea? Or something like that? Or that timing doesn't make sense, but there was something with one of them, or is that taken?
Die Hard 3 was going to be Lethal Weapon 3, if I remember rightly. So I don't know if you're thinking about that.
Maybe I'm thinking about that.
Die Hard 3 was originally a script that was supposed to be Lethal Weapon 3, and then it got reworked into Die Hard 3.
I'm thinking about that.
So maybe it's that you're talking about.
I am thinking about that, but yeah, okay, no worries.
Before we get Commando, then, let's have a quick chat about the cast as well. Obviously, Arnie. We've got Rae Dawn Chong in this. She's the daughter of the legendary
Tommy
Chong from Cheech and Chong.
Yeah, I bought a Cheech and Chong product earlier, actually, just over there.
Oh, there we go. We'll say no more.
Funny enough, I was chatting to my friend the other day, and he lives in LA, and his kid goes to private school, and he said that his kid was in a little football team with a couple others. One of them's Rae Dawn Chong's daughter, I think, or granddaughter. One or two. Must be probably granddaughter now. One or two.
Wow.
It's really random. I was like, that's so... I said, what? Like, so Tommy Chong's fucking, like, great-granddaughter, or great-great-granddaughter, I guess. And
that's something that makes this film special, is the casting, because she's brilliantly cast in this. She's very sassy. She's unbelievable as something she just gets involved in the mission, but also works well.
I remember, I don't know, it's one of those things where it kind of, I feel like it could be cast better, but I do find that she is absolutely fine in it, and I do think it's a bit of a strange cast for some reason. I don't know why. I feel like, I don't know, because you did need that sort of normal person who's fairly plays it safe, quite clean person, and then all of a sudden this thing goes on, and oh my god, and they get swept up in it. And there's a lot of movies in the 80s that had that. I suppose you'd do that, what's that one, Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner, Romance in the Stone and stuff like that sort of thing. So there was those sort of films where the woman would get swept up in the action. But I don't know, yeah, she's fine.
We've also got Vernon Wells as the mental Freddie Mercury style Bennett.
This is great though. Right, so the last minute, I don't know who it was. Do you know? Did you find out who was going to be the bad guy? And
I know that somebody else was originally cast.
I don't know who it was, and I meant to look into it. Anyway,
that's where the vest doesn't fit, right?
Last minute, right? Vernon Wells came in, and Vernon Wells you'd know from like he drives the motorbike into the party in Weird Science, because he's kind of doing his role from Mad Max, which so he's quite an intimidating character. But he came in last minute, and the costume were like, well, we haven't got any other like chain vests of your size, and he was a little bit more of ample in size, and so he's wearing this tight vest, so he basically just has like his belly in it. It looks like he's just been drinking pints down the pub for a couple of years, and it's like, I don't know how in Nightmare on Elm Street 2, when like the guy there came home from work one day and his wife said, how was work today? It's fine, I was in a leather bondage whipping a teenage boy in the shower, but we're not doing a gay film. It's like that with this. Did they not look at Vernon Wells' character and be like, this is really quite homoerotic kind of like bad guy? Like it's very like Freddie Mercury, and Freddie Mercury famously was a gay person, and that moustache. But it's the way he's like leather gloves, and he's just kind of
He's quite camp, and
he's really camping it around as he walks and stuff. And it's like, is this on purpose? I don't.
It adds strange. I think it adds to the character,
his character. But I'm thinking it's like with the director. Imagine apparently at one point Arnie said to the director, "Don't give him a real knife," which is like, duh, of course. Who gives fucking real knives in movies? I don't know if this is true though. Don't give him a real knife. Maybe it's a joke because Vernon Wells apparently is really into it, and Arnie's like, "I'm probably gonna get stabbed."
Yeah.
And I don't know. I imagine it's kind of like Predator, where John McTiernan, I think, was probably quite a hard ass who could probably take it with all the male testosterone, with all those guys trying to outdo each other, who's manlier than the other. And this one, Arnie obviously is quite a manly man, and Vernon's just probably a bit fucking out there. So it's, do you know what I mean? And I reckon the director's probably like, yeah, if you want to go camp with it, you go camp with it. So, I don't know, it's a strange choice. It does work for his character, but I wish he just had a bit baggier clothes or darker clothes. Or he looks good earlier on when he's wearing just a jacket and he hops onto the boat.
Yeah, he's got like a Rambo
fine.
jacket.
It looks fine. But then that tight chainmail, come on.
Yeah, but it just adds to the craziness. We've also got Warriors.
And Twin Peaks.
Yes, David Patrick Kelly as Sully in this. And he just adds that slimy sleaze, which is great. You know, he's a bit of a predator, sexual predator.
Sully, I like you. I'm going to kill you last.
You said you wouldn't kill me.
I lied. I let him go. That's a double whammy of a fucking joke there, really. I lied, and then I had to let him go.
And just quickly, while you're on that tangent, that's the prime of Arnie, was when he was delivering these. No one else was really doing that at this point. He was doing that.
This is like mid-'80s. We're at a point where like the 80s have finally settled. They've come out the 70s, you know, always like the beginning of the decade. Then, not so much now. It's a free fall for everything all the time now, but you'd have like 2.5 years before the last decade fucks off, and you kind of get, now we're in hypercolour or whatever 80s thing we're doing now. And 85, you're at peak everything 85, and this is brilliant. Over the top violence. It's what we needed.
Another manly man makes an appearance in the cast, Bill Duke, the towering Bill Duke.
A good director in himself as well.
Yeah, he is. And we got Dan Hedaya plays Arias, the bad guy, who is a bit brown-faced in this. He's they kind of make him up to be sort of Latino.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's a bit awkward, but
yeah. Okay, yeah. I thought he was, so fair enough. They did an okay job.
And finally, we got Jenny. By a very young Alyssa Milano, which a lot of people will know from sort of late 80s, early 90s American TV shows. And I completely forgot that Bill Paxton, our buddy Bill Paxton, makes a very brief appearance in this as well.
It's always good to get a little snippet of Paxton, isn't it?
Yeah, and him and Arnie were good buddies.
I feel
along with
James from Jim Cameron. Yeah, I feel like this is also actually almost like a rehearsal for Predator. I feel like it's like a year. It's like a year before. Like next movie's going into is going to be Predator. So I really feel like this is just him, just like going, okay, that's my rehearsal. Now I'm going to fucking do it properly.
And the simplest plot devices are often all you need just for the violence. Because John Wick is a dog that dies, you know. In this, it's his daughter that's been kidnapped. Same with Taken, you know, and that's sometimes all you need is a simple device.
The shadow of death. People go out to the woods to buy some weed.
That's all you need.
Let's do it.
Let's get into it. So we start off with Garbage Men.
Yeah, I love this as a kid. I saw this. Do you know this was a comic book character originally?
John Matrix.
Yeah, Commando. And so it was a comic by the writer Jeff Loeb.
I know Jeff Loeb.
Yeah, he was the writer who wrote it, and then I think he might have had something to do with some of the screenplays, probably as well. Do you know also Valverde? The country.
Don't talk about it.
Is it in your trivia?
It's in My World of the Strange.
That's fine. For many years, I'd never seen goriness in this film because we had a cut version. How pathetic.
Yeah, I was saying this to RJ, funny enough, when we were watching Big Trouble in Little China, because we had a recorded version of that from the TV that cut out the swearing and some of the violence. And, you know, it's the same with RoboCop, Lethal Weapon. A lot of those movies I'd never seen fully until probably in my early 20s, some of them. I'd seen them so many times and knew them off by heart, but finally getting them on either VHS or DVD was crazy because you didn't need to go out and buy it. We'd recorded it off of TV at Christmas, you know, and that was fine. You didn't really know you were missing so much.
No, it was cool when I first watched the uncut version of Commando. I was like, wow, I found my trivia. Oh, the string vest? No. The connection. Okay. Part 2, Commando Part 2, yes, would have been Die Hard. It was going to be basically the exact same situation because obviously he's going after his daughter here. Is going to be in the thing. So Commando 2 was going to be Die Hard.
Interesting. Imagine Arnie in the Nakatomi Plaza.
So, yes, I wasn't making that up in my head.
Oh, yippee-ki-yay.
We start with a nice kind of suburban, like the Burbs type neighbourhood, your Lethal Weapon neighbourhood, your fucking Poltergeist neighbourhood, your fucking not Goonies, Gremlins.
No, it's Goonies,
Goobies.
I said.
Goobies is that knockoff Goonies.
Gooby-dooby-doo.
It's the Scooby-Doo and the Goonies.
What I love about this opening scene is it's so me as well. Because it's a guy in bed, and I'm the guy that worries about the recycling in the bins. And he's like, "What's that sound?" And she's like, "It's just the garbage, man." He's like, "On Tuesday?"
It has to be you, because I was watching this and I was like, I am definitely not going to go, what's that sound when I heard a sound? Okay, let's say, for example, I am a light sleeper. I hear that, the window's open because it's hot, and it's like, oh, what's that? Oh, fuck. And the woman's like, oh, it's garbage on. And then I go, but that's not right. It's a Tuesday. I'm not, though. Jumping out of bed and taking a rubbish to him, I'm going to fuck that shit. I'll sort it out later. I'm not doing it.
He even empties the cat litter tray into the bin.
Oh God, he gets
it all ready.
Now, I want to know is how when they planned this heist of killing this dude. This is a spoiler, but it's, you know, watch the film if you haven't seen it, if you can. I love the fact that they planned this heist, but they like so he's going to come out and bring his trash out. He don't know he's going to get out of bed. He might have been like hungover. He might have COVID. He might be ill. He's not getting out of bed. You don't know that. Why? And what if like loads of other people came out as well? You're just gonna take pop, shoot that one, shoot that one. It's luckily though it all goes to plan, and only he comes out, and he does come out.
He comes out and he says, "Hey guys, don't forget my trash." And
Bill Duke.
Bill Duke's one of the garbage men, and they pull out a couple of AK-47s. They gun him down.
Yeah.
And they don't just gun him down, they blow him to shreds. And then when he's led on the floor and you think, wow, they've killed him, they carry on shooting a little bit more. It's a bit like the Ed 209 scene. This guy's Swiss cheese by the end of it.
Yeah.
And that's your opening scene.
That is the opening scene, but it's like, who's this? What's going on here? This is kind of like, it's funny enough though. This is almost like the most boring scene in the film, even though someone's getting gunned down in a street. Do you know what I mean? Because the movie is so action-packed with so much violence and rocket launchers and all sorts, this seems tame to it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the movie is so action-packed that in the first 3 minutes we get 3 different death scenes.
And it feels a bit boring compared to the rest of the movie, what's coming, if you know what's coming.
In under 3 minutes, 3 men will die. So we've already had one of them. The next one is Bill Duke in a car dealership. He's back.
Bill's just like, next scene,
just seen this guy.
We just seen this guy in his overalls. Next scene, we see him in a suit and that, and he's just checking out a car. And we're like, oh, we know this is bad. And I think you know from watching it, I think you could probably guess if it's your first time, like, he's going to get in that car and just drive out that window. Didn't expect the guy to go jump in front of the car and him just to mow him down and drive off.
So he kills,
and drive off smiling.
The guy. He does indeed. And then we cut back to another scene where it's on a boatyard. And this is where we meet Bennett in his Rambo-style big green coat.
Bennett.
And Bill Duke presses a little button and blows up the boat.
How did they do that? How did he get off?
I don't really know.
I don't know how they did. I have no idea how he did this. Got away with this. Yeah.
All I know, Gav, is my testosterone levels were through the roof because in under 3 minutes we'd had 3 deaths: one by car, one by explosion on a boat, and one by gunning down by garbage guys. And the next scene is Arnold Schwarzenegger with a log.
I'm looking at that picture right now. This just to ruin this for you. It was an artificial log.
No.
Yeah. But still.
And this is where the steel drums kick in, and we get this incredible score that we've talked about. And there's Arnie chopping wood as only Arnie could. One chop at a time. All he does is one chop. That's the tree done. The next one chop. He splits it right down the middle every time. And then,
to be fair, I imagine that he probably could look at that log. I imagine he could probably carry it, but for the purposes of whatever he's going through, it's not worth doing risky stuff like that.
I don't want to get a splinter in my shoulder.
Well, if the actor got actually damaged, then that costs a lot of money. So it's best not to just do it. So for such a simple fucking shot.
While he's chopping up the wood, and we see the shadow of somebody creeping up behind him.
Oh, I love it! I love this bit, and it's so early on. We've just had death, action, macho-ness. I'm carrying a tree through the fucking woods like Yeti, Bigfoot. And then all of a sudden, someone creeps up, and it's still in. We're all still in like tense mode. Our buttholes are like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? And it's Jenny. He turns around. Jenny turns around. It's this little girl, and she's like, the music drastically changes to and it turns into like such sweet music. And he turns around and goes, I surrender.
You got me.
And she puts ice cream on his nose, and then they're feeding deer.
We get a montage now to show the audience that he's a single dad with his daughter Jenny.
How lovely they both are.
And they live out in the middle of the fucking woods, in the middle of nowhere.
Did they have a team of people in a room go, right, okay, what's the sweetest things you can think of? Feeding a baby deer. Got it. Next.
Got it.
Ice cream on the head. Yes, ice cream. That's hilarious. Next.
Sandwiches. Yeah. Well, that's in my sandwich. You don't want to know,
fishing.
Dad.
Perfect. It's all wholesome shit. That's what we need. Wholesome shit. So in amongst this movie where the opening of 3 people being killed is pretty tame and boring because the movie's so full on, we've got this moment of loveliness.
Well, the sandwiches are interrupted by a giant helicopter that comes flying at the log cabin that they're living in. She goes, oh my God, Dad, are you going to leave me again? And he's like, no, I'm not going to leave you this time, Jenny. I told you, I'm back for good. So he's been away on commando missions, killing men, ripping their heads off. And this time he's back to eat their sandwiches.
This is basically John Rambo's boss coming in to say, hey, John, we need you, basically, which is Rambo 2. I wish it was Troutman. It's basically Rambo 2, First Blood, Part 2.
Well, it's Major Kirby, played by James Olsen. Major Kirby lands and he says, and John sneaks up on him. And he says, you're still the best. He goes, you better believe it.
I wish it flipped. He went up to him and he jumped over like he does with Jenny. And then we had a montage of those guys doing the same thing.
Feeding a deer.
And putting ice cream on his head.
What's in my sandwich, Kirby? Don't worry about
it. No, it's the stuff I put together. Just eat it.
He tells John Matrix, because what a name for an action hero, John Matrix. That's it. He tells John, he says, someone's been taking out your ex-unit one by one, and they're making a mess of it. They want us to know about it, and they're going to come for you. They're going to come for you. And he says, but they all changed their names. So they've all those guys that we watched get killed, they all changed their names after the last mission. But someone's found out who they are and he's gone and killed them all. And he says, look, they're going to find you, John. All I'm telling you is they're coming for you. You better be ready. Yeah. I'm going to leave you 2 guys for protection. And he's like, are they good? He goes, not as good as you. They sort of smile at each other. There's a bit of a flirt between them. And then they're instantly killed Because Kirby takes off and he's like, see you later.
He's like, right, I'll be back. These guys will save you. They're good. They're not good as you, John, but they'll do for you. Okay, fine. All right, helicopter just goes off.
The helicopter literally goes around the
helicopter
corner.
goes off, and then at that second, there's someone in the bushes just over to the side of them shooting at them. So, whoa, okay, straight in there. I'd love to see how that reads on the script, by the way, in the screenplay.
John picks up Jenny and runs inside with her, and he says, "I've got to get to my rifle. It's in my shed." Now, my one thing here is, if I was John Matrix, I would have guns in every room.
My question to you, yeah, definitely. My question to you is, what do the bad guys smell like? Do you think?
I know.
Because he says to the guys who get shot, who is guards.
Well, one of them is killed instantly,
and the other one's shot. And he says, "How you doing?" "Oh, I'll be all right." Sort of. He goes, "Why didn't you know they're coming?" And he says, "I did." And he says, "What?"
He said, "You should have stayed downwind of them." And he said, "What the hell does that mean? They're not animals. What? You think you can smell them?" And Matrix goes, "I did."
Yeah, he smelled them.
He smelled them coming,
but he didn't know. Well, at what point did he smell them coming? When the helicopter was going off, all of a sudden we went, and then the gunshot went.
Do that face again. I can smell aftershave. Who is it?
It's aftershave, my left nostril over there. It's a weird thing, but yes. Anyway, he goes to his shed.
Yeah, he does. But
it's an armory.
We talked about this earlier. There is a comparison here between this and Taken. Jenny goes under a bed, and we see the feet of the guys that are looking for her coming around their beds, like in Taken.
It is very
which
true.
Is interesting, and I'm sure that was part of RJ's thinking when he picked these two as a double bill. Yes, he goes to the armory. Jenny's kidnapped. The messenger, he kills the messenger who tells it. He's basically sat there going, "You ain't gonna do shit. We got your daughter." Da 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 da. And Arnie just goes, "Wrong." What a great way to say
wrong.
And just blows the guy away.
I love that. Because he basically, it's like shit. She's been taken. Goes in back to his camera, and it's just a dude just sitting there going, "Hey man, how you doing?" Like a Dennis Hopper type of character or something. And he just says, hey man, we could be cool, we could talk about it, and he just literally says wrong and just shoots him straight away in the forehead. He goes, "Right, that's it, I'm going outside, jumping in my fucking car, I'm going after them, here we go."
But his truck has had its brakes and some of the engine ripped out, so being Arnold Schwarzenegger,
I love it. I'm going to put it in neutral
and just shove it down a big steep cliff,
and then I'm going to get in it, and I'm just going to see what happens. Now, fucking hell, this made me laugh so much. The fact that it's going up and down, it's literally proper, and Arnie's actually driving. You can see he must have got whiplash, because it's hilarious how he's trying to actually, and we keep coming back to it, but it's like definitely the bits of times when the van went too much sideways and actually rolled over, obviously got cut before they got, we showed those bits in the actual film, because it just get to the point where it's just like goes up on like a few, and they're like, man, that is not going to land well, and it cuts to another shot of close up of him going and then cuts to another shot of going down, and I love the fact he's got like these bad guys doing this winding road. It's almost like fucking it's Donkey Kong. He's got these bad guys doing this winding road, and he's just like, I'm fucking going through the middle. I love the fact that they get to the point of like, he's gonna hit us, and it's just like, you brake then. If you can see him coming, just brake. He's just going straight forward, but they keep on going. He nearly hits them. It's ridiculous.
He misses them on the first bend.
It's fun as fuck. It's just ridiculous.
He misses them on the first bend, and then he crashes on the second bend, and the car's blown up.
His comical bump acting though is so good.
And he gets captured by Bennett, his ex-colleague. It's like he's worked in an office with him. I don't know why I said that.
They might have worked in an office.
You know what I mean. Imagine that. Arnold.
Give me my stapler.
Son of a bitch.
So he's been tranked and chained up. We next see him chained up.
He's chained to a table, and we meet Arias in brownface, played by Dan Hedaya.
And Bennett doing his best weird fat Freddie Mercury impression.
Yeah. And he says, "I know, Arnold, you want to break free." No, he doesn't say that. He says, basically, this is what's going to happen. We've got your daughter. We want you to go and kill the president of Valverde. And if you do all of that for us, you get your daughter back and it's all good. You're the only man that can do it. You're a one-man army, and that's what we want you to do.
It's like, this is pre-internet. He must just be like, if you want, it's like the A-Team. If you need help, there's no one else can help you. You need John Matrix, the one-man army.
He would even beat the A-Team, I think, wouldn't he?
Probably would.
Because they can't hit shit. They don't kill anyone.
No, he would have chopped off Murdoch's arm and all sorts.
Although I'd love to have seen B.A. Baracus go up against John Matrix. Jesus.
Well, he did it against Sylvester Stallone, didn't he?
He did. Expendables movies are so good. Anyway, so meanwhile, we cut back to John's house and the army there.
I meant Rocky, sorry. Mr. T and Sylvester Stallone.
I'm just thinking about as a kid, dreaming about these guys meeting up, and then we got it in the Expendables for the most part.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the army are back at John's house because they've heard about there's been a few deaths there, and our men haven't reported in. And he says, "Oh, Jesus Christ, there's been something bad here." John's had to take these two guys. John isn't here. His daughter isn't here. So Major Kirby is on the trail of the destruction that John is causing. Cut to them at the airport, and the baddies take John to the airport with an escort played by, well, it's probably a Bob Miner, a guy called Jackson. He's got very strange hair. And he basically says, "I'll be back, Bennett," which is just, you've got to get Arnie to say it.
He does.
And then this is where Sully, David Patrick Kelly, says...
and Sully looks so small compared to Schwarzenegger.
He's a very short man.
It's Danny DeVito-ness.
Yeah. Well, maybe that was the idea for twins. He says, "Hey, here, John, have some beers in Valverde. It'll get everyone a little more time with your daughter." And this is where John says, "You're a funny guy, Sully. I like you. That's why I'm going to kill you last." And boy,
and he's like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." And he's taken away. Sully's there. Sully's escorted him to the airport, and he's there to phone in. Again, obviously pre-internet. He's there to phone in when he sees Arnie's plane take off. And then there's another guy at the end on the other airport to make a phone call for when the airplane lands, which is great because we have like a whole taken timescale thing coming up.
Yeah, it's like 96 hours or whatever it is. I don't know what it is. 12 hours or something.
But yeah, so Arnie's taken onto the plane with the fella, and he sits down.
Jackson.
And he sits down with the dude, and it's got to sit down, and straight away he's just like fuck, looking around and going, "Oh fuck, the door's going to shut in a minute. Okay, shit, I haven't got long to go. What the fuck?" And then he says, "Oh, can I have a blanket and a hat?" No, he said
a blanket and a pillow. A blanket and a pillow.
Yeah.
And the lady brings him that.
Yeah.
And then he does it's a good bit of acting from Arnie. He sort of flips out the blanket, sort of, flaps it a bit to get it comfy. But as he's doing that, his elbow just goes
bang. He takes the person. It was nicely done. Did you notice when he got on the plane though? He was checking out all the undercarriage of the plane as he gets on.
Yeah.
And I hadn't sort of really clocked that before because I'm reviewing it. I really watched this film. I kind of enjoyed this like the first time I watched this. By the way, reviewing it because I was really, really engaged with it this time.
Similar to Liam Neeson in taking he's checking if Liam Neeson walks in a room and taking,
it's like
he checks everything out around him. Yeah,
you're making a plan up at that second in time.
Yeah.
And Arnie's already made the plan. Like he needs to get off straight away. How could I do this? Oh, I could do this. I could I'll knock him out, and then I'll break his neck. Okay, cool. And he does that. Knocks him out, breaks his neck, puts a hat over him, puts a blanket over him, and says, "My friend, he's dead tired. Please don't wake him up."
Brilliant.
At some point, though, she must go though. Where's that guy? He went for a shit so long ago. He said he had gas, but that was like 2 hours ago or whatever,
Yeah, because he gets up and she says, "Sir, you can't get up while we're about to take off."
He must have noticed that.
"I got tummy troubles."
No, he says, I got gas.
He goes into the toilet.
But he doesn't know.
Straight through the wall, into the cargo area.
Yeah.
Rips through another wall, finds the wheel mechanism, climbs
Now,
down.
This is Mission Impossible. This is basically a fucking Tom Cruise stunt for Mission Impossible. The way he's on there like that, hanging on to it, and it's going along. And then obviously I know you got a stuntman, but you still got someone from dropping from an airplane wheel, which has been taken off. That's actually happening. That's not a fucking like a fake body.
Yeah, it's not green screen, is it?
No, that's someone actually going down and falling into like Everglade type area where so you've got some water to land on. And I was like, that's really impressive. It's really well put together. It's really well edited. Yeah, I was really impressed by it.
Yeah, he drops into a swamp. First thing he does is he sets an 11-hour timer. He's got 11 hours before that flight lands, and they realise he's not on it. So this is great. Like you said, with Taken, he's got 96 hours in this. He's got 11 hours. And, so we're on the clock now.
Like at this point, he does cook and then just starts running full pelt. I was like, this dude, if there's any movie to say this is what drive is, this guy has drive. He's just like, go, run, go. I'm going. Whoa.
And I think part of the reason RJ would have picked this as well is, we both got daughters, and this is the first time I've watched this since I've become a dad. And I was talking to Alice about Taken specifically, and she said, but you'd do that. You'd go and rip up half of Paris to look for Edith if someone took her. I said, yeah, 100% I would. I'm not even Liam Neeson. I'd be like staggering around going, oh, a bit of cheese. I wouldn't be doing it quite as suavely as Arnie. And well, Arnie's not very suave. He's just taking people out. But yeah, he runs back to the airport.
But he sees, luckily, he sees Sully ring up and say that he's left. So he's made that phone call, which is brilliant. So, and he runs back and he sees Sully's there, and he's seen Chong, Ray Don Chong's just standing there, and he's already sort of said, oh, "Hey, how you doing?" She's blowing him off, sort of thing, and then he's straight away there again, and won't leave her alone.
On the phone. She's on the phone to somebody going, I really like you too. My flight's been cancelled. And
he just starts talking over the top of her.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter what she's saying. It's so like real sleaze, proper sleaze, to the point where he follows her out to the car park.
Hits on her again, and she tells him where to go, and he goes, you fucking whore. It's like, oh, okay.
Arnie sees Sully though when he's chatting her up, and he knows that he's probably just seen him go. He knows he's made phone calls, that's right, but he can now kill Sully, basically.
Yeah. So he grabs,
and he needs Sully for a bit more information.
He grabs Cindy and he goes, "Shh, don't make a sound. Let me just rip your car seat out."
After that, and then all of a sudden she gets kidnapped. She must be thinking, "I hate men so much right now."
Well, it's gone from her flight being cancelled, which she's an airline stewardess.
To the sleaze bag, probably.
So she's called up her boyfriend and said, "Hey, good news! I've got the day off. So should we make a date? Brilliant. All right." Next thing you know, someone's hitting on her and calling her a fucking whore, and then this giant muscly guy
kidnaps her.
Has ripped out her car seat and kidnapped her. Oh,
yeah.
Not the day you were planning, really. But
and then he's just like, right, follow that one. What, the guy who's stalking me is? Oh my god!
She said, "How did I know you were going to say that?"
Do you know what this could have been though? This could have been a ruse that they were both in on it.
Jesus.
Yeah, but he goes follow her, and actually both those guys then get there, then they just kidnap her. Could it?
Well, they follow him across the city into a shopping mall, and Sully gets out, and he goes to meet a guy in a bar to get some passports and stuff.
Yeah,
because it's all dodgy dealings. And he tells the guy, this is all good. Thanks for these passports. I appreciate that. Meanwhile, Arnie's like, it's basically, this is to do with my daughter Jenny. He has information on where she is because she's been taken. She doesn't know whether to believe him or not. And he says, look, just lure the guy over here. I'll do the rest. So he goes and hides. Meanwhile,
she just goes up to security. Yeah.
She goes, "Excuse me, Mr. Security Guard. There's a big muscly guy over there.
This is so good.
Causing trouble."
It's so good.
He calls Rebecca. He's he takes one look at Arnie.
No, wait. She said it to some guys, so there's this other. It shows these different security guards. We get a geography of the shopping centre. It's on different levels, and we see that there is different security guards at different spots. And then we see one guard is kind of looks like he's trying to chat up a couple of girls, and he's real skinny. Scorley, and he gets through on his radio. There's a guy, and he just looks at them and says, "You want to see me kick some ass?" And it's the way he says it. It's just like, you have no idea you're about to go against Arnold Schwarzenegger in his Commando phase. It's so good. And what he says, though, when he calls it in.
What does he say?
What he says is so good. He says his radio description of Arnold is this. He's 6'2", brown hair, and he's one gigantic motherfucker.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's so good. And he must at that point go, I've just said to those girls, do you want to watch me kick some ass? And I've got this guy I'm about to go and fucking have to tell, and kick his ass. It's not happening.
So a team of security guards swarm on Arnie, and he starts throwing them all over the place. Sully comes out of the bar and sees the person that he thought was on the plane beating up all the security guards. He's like, oh shit. So he runs to a phone booth to phone in and say, this is all. Meanwhile, while this is happening, did you notice the guy in the Thriller jacket?
No.
There's a guy in a bright red Thriller jacket, especially when Arnie, because by the way, dear listeners, while he's in the phone booth, Arnie runs over after having knocked out 6 security guards. He lifts up the phone booth that Sully is in and smashes it down on the ground. And this is where you see the guy in the Thriller outfit, which is hilarious. Sully gets away, so he chases him. Cindy realizes, actually, this guy's for real. He is after trying to get his daughter back, so I better help him, I think. A great moment, real Jackie Chan moment, where he cuts like a really big balloon thing and swings down on top of the elevator.
Yeah, it's cool.
That Sully's in, and I think that was actually Arnie doing that. There probably would have been harnesses or something.
No, it wasn't.
It's amazing. He then gets run over, but it's just Arnie, so it doesn't matter. He gets into Cindy's car, starts to chase him, and Cindy jumps in, and she's like, well, I'm going to come with you now. I'm in with this.
Very quickly, when Sully was in the shopping centre and he was having drinks with his rendezvous, doing his thing, he's looking around at the place, and he says, this place used to be great for hunting /
Is that what he says?
And then he looks over at Ray Dawn Chong. He's like, don't worry, I found me some more. Like, he needs to be let go.
Yeah, well, he does, because Arnie runs him off the road.
Another point very quickly. At one point, Arnie, back at the shopping centre, threw off of him 7 security guards. I counted them. Hurry round and counted them. 7 all at once. They all just bounced out of him like he was a butterfly coming out of a cocoon.
They were all on top of him, and he did one of those sort of Incredible Hulk moves. It
was. Yeah.
So he grabs Sully, because Sully's Porsche is flipped, grabs him, and he hangs him by one ankle off a cliff. And he says, information, give it to me now. And Sully says, and he tells him a little bit of information. And he says, you better hurry up, this is my bad arm. And Sully gives him a little bit of information. And then he goes, remember when I said I was going to kill you last? And he goes, yeah, you did say that. I lied. He just drops him. And then he heads back over to Cindy. She's like,
what does he say when he falls? Sully has a catchphrase in this.
What does he say?
He says it earlier, and he says it here. His catchphrase is, ooh la la.
He does say ooh la la.
When he falls, he goes, ooh la la.
Yeah, I did. I remember watching. Earlier,
I can't believe Sully has a catchphrase. It's so bizarre.
Ooh la la.
Ooh la la.
Well, that's probably what I'd say if someone dropped me off a cliff. Ooh la la. Cindy says, what happened to Sully? And he says, I let him go. He then says, well, we're going to have to, the car's wrecked. What are we going to do? I know. I'll flip the Porsche back over onto its wheels. And I guess we have a car now. And off they go in the Porsche. And she's part of this now. So John now gives the exposition to Cindy as they're driving along, tells her the whole plot.
And she says, what you do, Sully? I let him go.
And then, meanwhile, we see that Jenny, Arnie's daughter, has been placed into a mansion with loads of army guys and sort of vigilantes and commandos and nut jobs guarding her. They're not going to last long once Arnie arrives. We know that. We've seen enough action films. So Matrix and Cindy go to the motel that Sully was staying at, because they find his motel key on his key rings. And they use his key. They go into his room and they search his room. I love all this stuff now. They're searching the room. Meanwhile, while they're searching the room, dun, 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 Bill Duke arrives outside because he's supposed to be meeting Sully.
Yep.
So he knocks on the door and they've got this little plan. She opens the door and he's like, I'm looking for Sully. She's like, he's in the shower at the moment. And he says, oh, interesting. He goes in, but it's really Arnie's behind the door. And we get a kung fu fight between Arnie and Bill Duke.
Yeah.
Not something you'd expect.
No.
Two big guys throwing each other around. And he says, what does he say to him?
They're duking it out, aren't they?
Bill duking it out. He says to him something about this green beret's about to kick your ass.
I ate green berets for breakfast.
It's just, and then she says, oh my God, enough of this macho bullshit.
It is very much macho bullshit.
And she also says, these guys eat too much red meat.
Yeah, it was after the point, it's like, stop with these little lines. They're just, you know.
They smash through a wall. Now, I've got a question for you, because when they smash through the wall,
I'm watching it now.
They disturb a couple who are having intercourse. Did they not hear these two giant men smashing each other around the room? Did they just think that was really rough sex going on?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Two big guys going at it.
And you don't see her boobs. I looked, and you don't see them. They're covered up each time. You
always do, but you don't.
It's weird, though. I felt like you should.
You wanted boobs. There's no boobs in this.
No.
Not even 3 in like Total Recall.
Yeah.
Maybe they made up for it with that. He eventually flips Sully onto a broken table and the spike goes through his chest and he dies before he can give any information. So Arnie takes his keys and they go to... She says something about knowing... By coincidence, she's been learning her pilot's license. So she knows a little bit about flying planes and piloting and stuff like that. So they go to a warehouse they get the information from his keys or something. Yeah, I don't know how they find this bit out.
I was watching this bit and I don't remember any of it. It's like, where are they? And I was all of a sudden taken back a bit. Like, just didn't remember this little part when they're looking in an office looking. It was literally like, is this new? Like, really weird. I must have just ignored it because I'm reviewing it. I'm watching it really closely, you know.
Well, they go to like a big warehouse / factory. He climbs inside and you can see all these drugs and weapons being packed. He hides under a tank at one point, beats up a couple of guys. Then he lets Cindy in through a door. Then they find the office. And this is where they work out. This is a bit far-fetched how quickly they work this out. They find the coordinates to this island, which must be the island that Jenny's on. And it's all just a bit far-fetched. But whatever, we're in it at this point. It's the 1980s, bang in the middle, mid-90s, 80s. Action film, so whatever. And she says, what's next? And he says, we go shopping. And you think, oh, we're gonna have a little shopping montage now, and he's gonna be out buying, got the new CD player. But no, he uses a JCB digger to smash a gun shop's window in. No police coming for a little bit. They've got a little bit of time. They go in, they load up with knives, guns, rope, radios, everything they can get. And then,
as a kid, I love this bit when they're just throwing stuff on. You can be like, what'd you take? What'd you take? What'd you take? It was so cool.
A couple of big knives, guns, some grenades.
But then again, I thought about this time. I was like, so I used to love it because, what'd you take? All these things are just to take people's lives out and kill them and just destroy people and kill them. Death. It's fun ways to kill people. So, yeah.
Not to comment too much on it, but very alien to us in the UK to have a shop that sells guns, let alone one gun. One is full of them.
But you watch it, even watch that, then you're like, there's no reason to have any of those guns. Obviously, it's for the movie, it's probably gone, but there's still, I'm sure there's some play shops that have stuff like this, and it's like, there's no reason. They got a rocket launcher. I'm sure you could just don't buy rocket launcher in shops because you're not going to go and rocket launch anything because you can't eat it afterwards. Or self-defense, you're not going to rocket launch a burglar that comes in your house. That's a bit much.
Imagine going in the shop and sort of saying, hey, how you doing, Jeff? You back for some more bullets? Yeah, actually.
Yeah, I'm going hunting this weekend.
Oh, well, I've got something new in, actually. This is called a rocket launcher. Yeah. Do you want to What does it do? Well, it's as it sounds. It fires a fucking big rocket.
It's a machine gun. Oh yeah, that'd be perfect for silence, ninja, stealth.
I've got some
hunting.
swords and a grenade here. Would you like these?
Yeah, ridiculous.
Good stuff. So it always felt to me like there's a little bit of the film missing here, because all of a sudden he's kind of arrested by these cops and he's in the van with them.
Yeah, yeah.
It feels weird. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it almost didn't need this, because he's then set out again. He's freed really quickly.
Well, by Cindy, who grabs a bazooka.
It's almost like just to put in another, or is it to show her worth?
Maybe it's to show that she can handle herself a bit.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird, but I think it's just for action's sake. Like throw in a rocket launcher because we can. It's the 80s and we make loads of money on video. Do whatever you want.
Cocaine. We've got the budget for a rocket launcher.
And VHS sales. So, after cinema.
Well, she accidentally fires it backwards, first of all, and explodes the shop.
Which gets the cops' interest, that's for sure.
And then she turns it around and then she blows up the cop van, miraculously not killing John Matrix, who's in the back of it, blows it over. It's almost like she's a crack shot with it. Yeah. And, he gets out and they carry on their way.
Yeah.
They arrive at the plane, which is on the water. And she says, "Oh my God, this is a boat with wings." And he says, "Just get it started." But just as they're about to get in, here come the bad guys shooting at them.
Yeah.
Brr, brr. Okay, so Cindy starts the plane. They manage to take off. You get that macho moment where she's like, "We're going to hit the crane." And he just uses his muscles to pull the lever that she could have done as well, but he does it for her. And we do get some little cuts backwards and forwards to Major Kirby. He's always about 2 steps behind Arnold. He keeps arriving at these like scenes of blood and guts and explosions, and he's like, damn it, John Matrix, you're just too good. We just can't keep up with you. While they're in the plane, go on.
I love a bit where we do get a bit of Bennett talking to the soldiers. "I love your pissant soldiers."
Yeah, because he's got these Aussie
They make me laugh. Me and Matrix would laugh too. And then he just keeps talking about Matrix. It's like, I have a shot every time he says Matrix. It's like, do you fancy Matrix?
I do think there is a bit of homoeroticism here.
It really is. He really wants to. It's like the way when he's having fought with him later on, and the way he is, it's almost like his knife is his penis for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's very homoerotic.
That vest and that moustache.
It's the way he is later on when we get to it. We'll talk about it.
That vest and that moustache really remind me of what you'd see in the Blue Oyster Bar in the Police Academy movies.
Absolutely.
That biker gang. Bill Paxton cameo.
We've got a Bill Paxton saying like basically you shouldn't be there, what you doing, turn around, and then they just drop altitude because it's a seaplane. They drop super low, off radar.
Cut to Jenny in the mansion, and she is trying to escape from the room they've locked her in, because she's the daughter of John Matrix. So we know she was taught kung fu because we saw the montage at the beginning. So she knows a thing or two. So she tries to escape the room, and the bad guys outside are saying, "Look, whether he does kill the president or not for us, we're going to kill Jenny either way."
The dead guy's hat falls off in the aeroplane. We just have a shot of that, so we know that that's not good because he's going to be discovered.
That's right. And also, Vernon Wells says, the thing about John Matrix is he's unstoppable. So again, he's bigging him up because he's saying
all the time,
"I love him. Have you seen his arms?"
Well, we do now because he rows to shore with a little boat.
What's he wearing?
In his pants, Speedos.
He's wearing the tiniest pair of briefs you could ever see.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's almost going Commando.
Imagine if he was actually butt naked for this scene for no reason at all, just dick swinging.
Apparently, there was a romance scene which was dropped.
I'm glad. Didn't need it.
Because that's why she's so like, hey, I'm like such a family member now when she's happy to see him at the end, and it's all a bit, lovey-dovey almost. There's a bit which just drops and cut out, and it's like, the pacing would be terrible, there's no point. We have on the boat where he basically gets ready montage, and this is just basically what I did this is basically me not knowing it. I watched it and I was like, oh, this is what I did for Dan in The Shadow of Death. This is exactly, it came from this. I didn't realise, really.
And it's been referenced in
many other films.
Evil Dead, Shaun of the Dead, Shadow of Death.
But in my head, this is where it comes from. Absolutely.
But this is probably one of the first getting kitted up scenes.
Yeah. And it's perfect. It is. And I think you should put yours with mine. Have you watched the new version on YouTube?
Of Shadow?
Yeah.
The last time I watched it was on Prime.
Oh, so you saw the new music at that point when you're getting ready there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, I did. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thanks for making
whole new
cool.
music I wrote for that bit. Yeah.
Thanks for making me look cool, badass, but also absolutely mental in The Shadow of Death.
Yeah, that's fine.
So yeah, kitted up, he even puts his war paint on.
For no reason whatsoever, there's just some fog as he stands there staring at the camera pretty much, and the camera just looks at him with all of his stuff, holding all of his gear in a bag. There's just all of a sudden fog. No other shot next
They got the
or
budget.
before.
They got the budget.
There
for a
was
smoke
fog
machine.
on the beach. All of a sudden, there's just fog. And then the next shot, no fog. No fog again. It just
One of the
looked
producers.
cool.
One of the producers
Which is
sort
fine,
of
'cause
shouting,
it did.
We haven't got through the cocaine yet. There's still quite a lot of budget. Bring in a smoke machine.
Absolutely.
Great.
It's so,
Fire the bazooka
there's
twice.
No reason for smoke, but I liked it.
Why not?
He sneaks up to the place now.
He does. And Arius and Bennett are in the mansion. They've got no idea what's about to hit them.
No, but
He sneaks up on the mansion.
we do, just before we start doing that though, we do cut back to the airplane and the plane lands and the dead body is being taken out and they've seen that and they're like, oh no. So straight away there's a dude getting on the phone to make a phone call. Cut back to the house.
And Arnold is putting landmines down and setting little traps and
So it's
explosions
all
everywhere.
about to kick the fuck off.
He starts killing bad guys, takes a few out.
He takes them out left, right and fucking centre. It's John Wick all over, isn't it?
And their boss Arius is told, look,
What is with the name? John Wick, John Matrix, John Rambo,
John McClane.
John McClane. They're all called John. Guess what my middle name is? Frank.
John.
No, it's John. It is John.
John Hannibal Smith in the A-Team as well.
John's the name. John's your action name.
John's the name, baby. Henry Swanson's my name and excitement's my game. He never played a John, or did he?
No.
No, he played a snake. Yes, John kills loads of bad guys. He blows up a couple of huts. And because this is happening...
I love the fact that these are miniature buildings being blown up and you've got cardboard... they might not be total miniature, but you've got cardboard cutouts of guys all around it with guns. Just like this.
Really?
And they're being blown up and you can just see them there in front of it.
Oh,
Because in the high definition watching it, I was like, oh, that looks really weak.
Because of this, Arius is told John's here and he's on the loose. He gives the order, go and kill Jenny. So
but
she's
he's too late.
Yeah. He grabs his rocket launcher. He's blasting people left, right, and centre. And Cindy radios into Kirby and says, "This is Commando. This is a." What does she say? Password Commando, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And Kirby now knows. And then Arnie goes into the forest and then onto the lawn. And I've just written here for my notes, so many kills. Like, he's killing hundreds of men. Loads of bullets and grenades.
This is kind of Enter the Dragon.
No one's touching him. He
It's
hasn't got
just
a
one
scratch on him
person
yet.
going in and just fucking kicking arse slowly. Yeah.
Even the bit earlier reminded me of
And then
Enter the
calling
Dragon.
in. Yeah, it's very much that
when
sort of thing.
When he sees the guns and the drugs in the warehouse, that reminded me a bit of that.
Yeah.
He goes into a shed and gets stuck in the shed for a little bit.
There's
He's a
loads of
little bit-
gymnastic stuntmen in this. When they're getting blown up, they are just doing the flips all over the place.
No wires.
No
wires about them. While he's in the shed, he sees a machete and a circular saw.
Because he's out of ammo.
So he grabs the circular saw and he ninja stars that at someone.
This shit was cut out of the cut version that I grew up with.
Yeah, same here. But the guy just gets his arm
chopped off
really nicely.
It's great.
Really good practical effects.
Yeah.
You wouldn't normally see that. It's more of a sort of Italian zombie movies effect, really, but it's great. It's good. Jenny, meanwhile, escapes into the basement. She doesn't know that Bennett's on her tail. Oh, shit.
Ah!
I've written here, John has a magic gun.
Magic gun.
He doesn't reload it once, does he?
No.
And he also hasn't been hit by it. I've written also, he must also have a force field around him.
Yeah.
Because no bullets are touching him. He gets into the mansion and he hears, Dad, come from the basement. And he goes, Jenny. So more death, and he kills a few more people. Arius appears and shoots at him. He kills Arius easily, so that's the main boss dealt with. However, he's not the main boss. Bennett is the final boss of the game. So he heads into the basement.
Yeah.
And Bennett is stalking Jenny. And she goes, Daddy, is that you? And he goes, I'm not your daddy. It's like, okay. He grabs her, and John shoots John in the shoulder. He says, stop screwing around, Bennett. Come on, do it. And he goes, okay. He goes, throw away the gun, throw away the knife, let's do this.
Just before we get into this, very quickly, when he was finding the boss, and he obviously shoots the boss just before he gets to Bennett and stuff, all the music just cuts out for no reason. And it's the score, music score is almost like it's just the gun shooting. There's so much going on. It's just when he gets to the boss in the house, the music score just cuts out. It's such a weird choice, because then when he shoots and kills the boss, the score comes back in again.
All right, that's weird.
But there's watch it back and see it. There's no reason for it whatsoever. It just turns into like it's supposed to be for tension, but it does the other thing. They've done it for tension. They drop it out so when the music comes back, when he dies, ding, 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 and it's like, no, that's not right. You should have just kept the music going. But yeah, it's a weird choice.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Well, him and Bennett now have a knife fight. A few slashes, turns into a bit of a fist fight. He eventually knocks Bennett back onto a pipe, which impales through his chest. Some steam comes out. It says,
but just just before, I know you got to say it now.
No, go on.
Just before, when they're fighting, this is when it's sort of quite sexual. They're looking at each other really closely in the eyes, and he says, "Stick the knife in me and twist it. I know you want to do it," he's saying to him while looking really in the eyes, and then he's saying, "Come on, let's party," he says to Bennett, and they're really like looking in the eyes, and Bennett at that point is almost all having an orgasm. The way he's just like, I can do it, John. He's really excited. It's so weird.
Yeah, he says, I can kill you, John, and he says, come on, let the girl go. Just between you and me, don't deprive yourself of some pleasure. Yeah. Come on, Bennett. Let's party.
Yeah, come on, Bennett.
I can beat you.
I can beat you. I don't need a knife. I don't need the gun. And it's just really over the top, hyped up, and it's just quite. Yeah, it's like if he wasn't fighting him, he'd be bumming him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, he gets piped in a way. He does get some pipe right through the chest. The steam comes out, and Arnold finishes with, "Let off some steam, Bennett."
Classic line. Most of these lines in this movie, this and Predator, are the best lines. They really are.
Yeah, they really are. And that's kind of the end, really. The chopper arrives too late, as it always does, in Enter the Dragon and in every other movie. And then,
but actually, just before that, he looks over to Jenny, and Jenny's all happy and that, and it's like, Jenny's absolutely happy, but there's a guy next to her with a pipe coming out of his chest with steam coming out of it, which must be horrific and traumatizing. As a kid, I remember being a bit traumatized by that whole thing, going, "Oh, that's really weird." But she's like, "Yay, Dad!"
And he picks Jenny up and carries her out, and he sees the soldiers.
Imagine being Jenny's first boyfriend. You have to meet my dad. Oh.
What did he do? I can't really talk about it. He's killed a lot of men.
I saw him kill at least 40 people in one day. What?
40 or 50
It's probably
people.
about 2 hours, to be honest with you.
How did he kill them? Knives,
all sorts.
Machetes. He just ripped a
He threw a pipe through this guy who looked like Freddie Mercury's chest, and then said to him, "Let off steam." It was just off the chain.
Shot a couple of guys in the head. He dropped a guy off a cliff as well.
I don't want to meet your dad. You're dumped. Yeah. No, actually, you're not dumped. He always says, dump me.
He always says funny things, though, when he kills them. He's got a great sense of humour. No. It's all right. Well, he picks Jenny up, walks past the soldiers, walks up to Kirby, who says, John, you could always restart your unit if you wanted.
Of course he does.
He goes, I told you that was the last time.
I told you that's it.
He goes, maybe there's a time for another one. One more mission. And he goes, no chance. Cindy's waiting for them at the plane. Come on, let's all go home together. And they fly off home.
Yep.
And then we get that amazing song at the end.
Dun, dun. Yeah, somewhere, what is it? Somewhere, someone, somehow, something like that. It's great. I love that song. I love the whole movie.
A lot of fun.
It's
a lot
so
of fun.
good. It goes by so quickly.
It's back when you had a lot of blood and guts, much like horror films. A lot of blood and guts, but a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was really just enjoyable, silly, almost comic book, wasn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Really enjoy it, and
thumbs up.
Great to revisit it. Yeah, definitely a thumbs up. It's really good to revisit it.
It's quite a macho film. I don't know if in 2025, if you've never seen it and you're someone that possibly doesn't like those sorts of films, might not like it. Don't know. I have no idea. It's something we grew up with, so we fucking love it and that genre.
One little quick bit of trivia I just want to mention.
Yeah.
Alyssa Milano said that Arnold Schwarzenegger was very, very protective of her on set and always helped her with her homework.
He's a good guy on it. I hope when he passes, there's not things that come out of woodwork or anything.
There's been a few already, haven't there? But
yeah. But generally, he does seem like an alright person.
Imagine that. Elisa. Oh, Arnold, I'm trying to do my algebra. I'll help you with this. Come on.
I think he's quite a clever person. He's quite good all round, really, isn't he?
Oh, they actually shot a sex scene. They shot it.
It must have been in the boat. Yeah, it must have been awful.
Terrible. Right. Well,
right.
Bill Murray's here. Talking of action stars.
Talking of sex scenes.
He's walked in. Oh my God, he's taking it literally. You've gone commando. No, Bill, commando means you wear clothes with no pants. It doesn't mean you wear nothing at all. Jesus Christ.
All right, Bill, take us. Well, don't take us out of here. Lead us in.
Guide us in, Bill.
Hi, welcome back to World of the Strange.
World of the strange. World of the strange. Strange. It's the world of the strange. I will find you.
Strange.
World of the strange. Thanks, Bill. Glad you've covered up a little bit. So thought for this World of the Strange, in keeping with our patron picks, we can chat about action movies, macho action movies, particularly from the 80s.
Macho man.
I want to be a macho man. What a great song. The Village People, I think, they did some great songs. They knew what to sing about. They had one topic, really, which was men, and they sang about it.
Yeah.
A lot. In the Navy, YMCA, Go West, Macho Man. Before we get into some fun and some chat.
When you're having Mexican and eating nachos, you can sing it when you're buying them in the supermarket. And I've done that before. I've bought them, walked down the aisle, going, Nacho Man.
Brilliant. Love it.
Yep.
Before we get into some fun and even a little quiz for you, just want to give you, and I think you were alluding to this earlier, so this isn't going to surprise you, but it might surprise our listeners. Did you know that Commando, Predator, and Die Hard are all connected?
Yes.
No, lie to me.
No.
Thank you. Yeah, so there's a theory that Commander? Who's Commander? Who the fuck is Commander? That Commando, Predator 1 and 2, and the Die Hard movies are all part of the same cinematic universe, way before Marvel. So here is the theory and the links between them. So John Matrix and, of course, Alan Schaefer from Predator, both played by Arnie. They're the same person, or they could be twins or brothers in this theory, okay? In the movie Commando, John says that General Kirby gave all of his men new names and identities, so we can assume that John Matrix isn't his real name. So it's probably not his real name. So his name could have been John Schaefer, maybe. Who knows? Could have been Alan Schaefer. So it's probably his real name. And he changed it. He changed it back when he agreed to come out of retirement and start up a rescue unit back in Predator, because he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to do search and destroy missions anymore. But the only problem with this part of the theory is that Matrix was a colonel and Dutch was a major in the army. So this is where there's a little flaw. But maybe he got demoted for insubordination, or Dutch was maybe Matrix's younger brother. Who knows? Now, the next link is that in Commando, Bill Paxton plays the Navy officer that we talked about that warns John to stay out of naval airspace. And he also plays Detective Jerry Lambert in Predator 2. Mm-hmm. So the theory is that these two characters are the same person.
Yeah.
Jerry Lambert was in the Navy. That's when he warned Arnold to stay out of airspace. And then after his time in the Navy was up, he joined the police force. And in 1997, the Predator hit town. And by that point, he was a detective.
That's so funny.
Then he met the Predator and had his spine and skull ripped out.
That's going to stop your career.
Yeah. And then the next link is that in Commando, going back there, Arius, the main bad guy, tries to force John to assassinate the president of Valverde, which is a fictional South American country. And in Predator, their rescue mission takes place in Valverde. And finally, in Die Hard 2, General Esperanza was being extradited from the US to the South American country of Valverde, meaning that all three of these movies are part of the same cinematic universe. Mm. So that probably ties into your trivia about Die Hard 2.
Yeah,
because it was probably in the script and they just left it in the script when they reworked it.
Nacho, man.
There's also a theory that Hudson in Aliens is a descendant of Jerry Lambert from Predator 2.
That's cool.
But I thought that was fun. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Valverde pops up a lot. There we go. Although in Predators, they actually say that he had a mission in Guatemala.
Yeah.
But fuck that.
I liked it. It's still the most fictional country of Valverde. It's great.
Yeah, it's cool. So let's talk action films from the 80s.
Amazing.
What I thought would be fun to do is I asked IMDb, I said, what are the top rated only 80s action films? So I haven't gone 90s, just 80s action movies. What are the top rated, please, IMDb? And I thought it'd be fun to go through the majority of the list here. And I'm going to start with number one. I'm going to do this the wrong way round. Because the highest rated action film from the 80s on IMDb is none other than our favourite Christmas film, Die Hard.
I thought you said, I don't know why I was confused. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Gremlins. Yeah. Die Hard is the highest rated 80s action movie on IMDb. Isn't that interesting?
That is, yeah, I agree. Die Hard's incredible.
It's not your typical, because he's not ripped and he's not got loads of guns and stuff, but it's still one-man army, and it's more realistic, isn't it? It's more plausible.
It's good casting.
It is probably in my top 5 action films of all time, and it is very near the top.
Oh yeah, very, very much.
You'll be really pleased with this list, Gav. Number 2, First Blood.
It's fantastic. I love it.
I didn't appreciate how good it was until we reviewed it for your birthday episode a couple of years ago. It's really good.
It's really good.
And it's deep. It's quite deep as well. Much like Die Hard.
Yeah.
There's some deep moments in it.
More so, Vietnam War and that and him coming back and then someone died of cancer and just like, it's just First Blood, that whole bit then, and it's all misty and it's cold, and I remember as a kid watching it going, this just feels really bleak and desolate and horrible, and I feel for him so much, and I actually feel sadness in a film as a child watching it.
And when he's sort of bullied by the cops and stuff.
Well, I wouldn't feel that in Die Hard, you know.
No. Number 3 is Raiders of the Lost Ark. Now, that is an action movie.
Absolutely.
I don't think of it in the same way I do as the ones we're talking about, but it's definitely a great action film.
I threw it on the projector recently with Sarah. We just laid in bed and watched it, and it was fantastic. Just watching Indiana Jones again, fantastic.
The first 3 indie movies are just a phenomenal watch with all the stunt work and everything. Yeah, and Harrison Ford is, again, an unlikely action hero, but an action hero all the same. He's got the one-liners, he throws a punch, he looks good with a gun and a whip and everything, you know. Number 4, Predator. We talked about it a lot, but it's up there. It's Arnie's highest rated.
Yep.
Number 5, Beverly Hills Cop.
Okay.
I agree. It's very adrenaline-y, the music. I think it's so quintessentially 80s as well.
Yeah, it is comedy action. I think of it more comedy though, for some reason. I wouldn't put that almost. I look at it and go, oh yeah, there is action. If I watched it, I was like, oh, it's action all the time. But you don't think that compared to the other films, you know.
And the same can be said with number 6, which weirdly, Big Trouble in Little China is the 6th highest 80s action film on IMDb. But it's balls to the wall action. It's got kung fu, magic.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, fair enough.
I agree with number 7, Lethal Weapon.
Oh yeah, of course.
I'd put that much higher than some of these.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the script is classy, isn't it? It's just
I watched that again recently and really enjoyed it.
Number 8, probably the first adult action movie I ever saw, RoboCop.
Oh God.
But again, I don't think of that so much as an action film, as more of a sci-fi.
It's almost
movie.
To me, I don't look at it as action. I look at it as sci-fi horror because it is horrific.
It's fucking horror.
It is proper horror. Yeah. Verhoeven, what did you do?
It wouldn't surprise many people that Top Gun is the next one, number 9. I'm not a massive fan. I appreciate it.
I'm not a fan at all.
Yeah, that's fine. It's a different type of action.
It's not the sort of thing I'm into. I don't really like movies about airplanes. There's not much interest. But I love movies set in airplanes.
You do.
But I don't like movies about airplanes.
Snakes on a plane.
Number
10,
millions.
The original Red Dawn from 84.
Mm-hmm.
Kids take on the bad guys. Great. Gotta love it. But again, I wouldn't be putting this in my...
I've not seen it, actually.
Fair enough.
And it's remade.
The original Terminator is the next one on the list.
Yeah.
I would put number 12, Aliens. That is way higher for me. That is one of my favourite action films of all time. And even though it's sci-fi and horror, it's so action, it's crazy. It's higher, much, much higher than even Beverly Hills Cop.
To me, Aliens, Rambo, Predator, they're like big, proper action. I know those 3. They're proper, full-on action. Like those guys are proper, like fucking sweat. I know Die Hard is. Do you know what I mean? That feels more, and Die Hard is, but feels more contained in a way. There's so much more fucking brutality and death going on in the others. I feel almost.
The first Mad Max movie is next. It's a lot of action in that, but again, I don't think of it because it's vehicles really more than anything.
Yeah.
Commando. That makes the list as well. Escape from New York. Again, it's hard to remember. That is actually so action-packed. And then we get sequels. We've got Rambo 2, we've got Beverly Hills Cop 2, Lethal Weapon 2, Indiana Jones 2, Red Heat, Any Which Way You Can, Conan the Barbarian, Roadhouse. That, to me, is in my top 10 action films of all time.
You could probably do this list for next hour.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's 50 on there. I'm not going to go through them all. There's a couple more I want to mention, just because it's like Cobra because it's such a weird film. It's like a slasher horror film, but an action film.
And we know why,
well.
because they said we've got a movie perfect for you. What's that? It's this, Beverly Hills Cop. I don't know. Let me go home and rewrite it. Okay, you're Sylvester Stallone. Here you go. I've rewritten it. Okay, that's not a comedy anymore. No. Well, we don't want to do that. We want to go with Eddie Murphy. Oh, okay. I'm going to go and make this. All right. And that's what happens.
Running Man's in there, and a couple more Indiana Jones movies. Rambo 3, Tango and Cash, a couple of Steven Seagals.
Tango? Cash?
So, from this list, the interesting thing is that the top 3 actors in this list are actually Harrison Ford, Sylvester Stallone, and Arnold, closely followed by Mel Gibson because of Mad Max and Lethal Weapon. And so he's like the 4th highest action star from the 80s, Mel Gibson. Harrison Ford being in the top 3, but I guess he did Star Wars and Indiana Jones, and those were like some of the biggest movies. You know, but yeah, it's no surprise that Sylvester and Arnold are tied really for the highest, biggest action stars in the 80s. They were the two. They were the two, really. When it came to muscle and guns, they were the two, really.
Yeah, and they were competing against each other, but yes, they were.
But we grew up, and this is just a brief tangent I wanted to go on. We grew up watching those movies that, even as a kid, you knew they were unrealistic. They were comic book. But that's why we love horror, because it's unrealistic, it's comic booky. That's why I love martial art films. They're unrealistic, but you love watching that crazy action unfolding. The reason we fell in love with cinema is because of these movies, you know, not just horror, but these as well. And, you know, I think we all watched some of these movies far too young. You know, we've talked about our RoboCop stories, and you've talked about your dad giving you a big pile of Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. And Rambo, you saw that very young, didn't you?
Yeah. And it was my Sunday roast movie. I'd sit on the floor just eating a Sunday dinner, like watching Rambo every Sunday when I was a kid. Brutality, and me going, yay!
And it's funny, you know, when Enter the Dragon obviously was a 70s movie, but that is another fantastic, and we covered that on the last episode, which is, so we're being very action-packed these last couple of episodes. The last thing then, Gav, is a quick quiz for you.
Okay.
On action films, not just 80s, but just action films generally.
Quiz me.
You ready?
Go.
So, some of these are easy, some of these are not.
18.
That's every question. You just answered it.
Amazing.
No. What's the name of the building where Die Hard takes place?
Oh, the Nakatomi Plaza. And I snuck into it.
You did, and then you got kicked out.
And I got kicked out, and the guy had a gun.
Who played the baddie, Howard Payne, in Speed?
Oh, is that Dennis Hopper?
You got it. 2 out of 2 so far. Well done.
Okay.
You look a bit nervous. You're right. You're going to get your action license.
Yeah, cause, well, with Speed, I luckily I know, because I'm not really into that film so much, but like, I knew the characters, the cast. Go on.
What's the name of the hotel that John Wick checks into to retrieve his weapons and gold coins?
Because they made it into a TV show as well.
They did.
For fuck's sake.
I'll give you a clue if you want.
Yeah.
It's a type of breakfast you might get
sausage,
when you're in a hotel.
Hash brown, bacon, tomato.
No, when you're in a hotel, they're saying, of course, you can have
a croissant.
It begins with a C.
Condom. Continental.
Yay!
It's the Continental.
We'll let you have that one. That's fine. Which actor famously said, "What would you like for breakfast? Cock." Yes. John Wick. The different type of John Wick. John Dick.
John Dick.
There's got to be a
John's Dick.
A porn parody of that, isn't there?
There has to be.
Okay. What actor famously said, "I feel the need for speed"?
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, you got it. Top Gun. How many movies?
I don't know the film. Yeah, go on.
How many movies so far have been released in the Fast and Furious franchise?
11.
Correct, including that spin-off Hobbs and Shaw. You got it. That was good. Your brain went, because that's recent for you, so you're still thinking about those movies. What's the name of the final and the last completed film that Bruce Lee starred in?
Oh, completed as an Enter the Dragon.
Correct, Commando. Who sang the theme song? This is a slightly obscure one for No Time to Die, the Bond movie. Who sang it? It was a female.
Is that Billie Eilish?
Wow, you're doing very well on this. Look at you, you look chuffed. How many? Oh, this is difficult. How many members were in Kill Bill's Deadly Viper Assassination Squad?
5. Oh, is it 6?
It's 6.
Damn it!
I'm going to let you have it. Wow, that was. I don't know how you did that. What is? This is a real test. Jason Bourne's real name. So we do find it out.
Look, I'm even in one of the movies, but I don't know. I've not really seen them. I couldn't tell you. That Jason Donovan.
Correct. No, it is David Webb.
Yeah,
just one wrong so far.
No,
that's all right. What year was the first Rambo movie released?
I want to say 84, but I feel like it's earlier than 84.
You're right, it is earlier. I'm going to give you that clue.
82.
Perfect. Well done.
Okay.
Ooh, baby. Okay. What does... There's no point in asking you this. What does John Matrix eat for breakfast?
Green berets.
Correct. How many rules does Jason Statham's character have in The Transporter?
Oh. 1 rule. There are no rules. I don't know.
There's 4 rules.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Do you want to know what they are?
Yeah.
Rule number 1, the deal is the deal.
The deal is the deal.
Rule number 2, no names. Rule number 3, never open the package. And the 4th rule is never make a promise you can't keep.
Oh, okay. I yeah. Again, a film series. I've seen them, but once.
That's all right. What crime is Harrison Ford's character accused of in The Fugitive?
Killing his wife.
Wow, you're smashing this. Doing great. How many Mission Impossible films has Simon Pegg been in, not including the one that's about
4.
to come out? Oh, what? How the hell did you get that so quick? Is that a guess?
No, I pretty much know that, I reckon. Yeah.
Wow.
He came in part 4, I'd say. So it's 4, 5, 6, and 7. I think the new one would be 7, maybe.
Brilliant. Who directed the 2010 remake of True Grit?
Oh, that was the Coen Brothers.
Wow, great stuff. I've only got 2 more questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
Which James Bond film was the first time that Judi Dench appeared as M?
That'd be a Pierce Brosnan movie. Maybe, not GoldenEye. Is it Die Another Day?
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I'm wrong though.
It's GoldenEye. You did say it.
Ah, shit. Okay.
And the last question is, what film involves somebody infiltrating a group of surfers?
Oh, Point Break.
Brilliant. You've actually only got about 3 wrong out of all of those. That is incredible stuff.
That's not bad.
You did so well. Well done, Bill.
Thanks. Why couldn't this been like a GCSE school thing, you know?
You'd have been acing it. Imagine that.
Unfortunately, I failed everything.
Rambo, 1982. Well done, Gavin. You got an A+ for that.
Thanks. I know.
What exams have you got tomorrow, Gavi? Well, Mum, I've got my hip hop exams tomorrow. Oh, you going to do all right in that one? Yeah, I think so. Imagine that.
Yeah.
I'd have been the same. It'd have been amazing.
But yeah, obviously I like films because I'm trying to work in film still. So, and I do essentially. So yeah, I love
Good
movies,
stuff.
and we're talking about movies all the time. So yeah, I should know. I should be able to do all right in a quiz.
You did very, very
I think
well.
you
my
would
friend.
be just as good though, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I probably would have got some of those, but I think I wouldn't have known things like how many there were in the Viper Squad and stuff like that. You maybe if that was a guess, it was a bloody good one, but you did really well.
I can pitch them.
Good stuff.
But as soon as I pitched 5, I was like, shit, no, it's evened out totally. It was 6.
Excellent.
Yeah. Excellent.
Well, there we go.
Well, let's get into another trailer.
Yeah. So, Bill, could you? Oh, dear! Don't look at him.
Oh.
He's saying something about "I will find you" and "I will what?" That's not what Liam Neeson says. He
does not say that.
Right. Okay. Let's take us out of here and into a trailer for Taken. Quick up.
That's all the time we've got for this week on World of Strange. Next week, though, give me Ira. Hairless pets. Weird.
Dad!
Oh, my darling. Happy birthday.
Dad, guess what? You know my friend Amanda?
Yep.
Her cousins asked us to spend vacation with them in Paris. I really, really want to go. Hi, Daddy.
You were supposed to call me when you land.
There's someone here.
What?
Oh my God, they got Amanda. They're coming.
All right, listen to me. Go to the next bedroom. Under the bed. Tell me when you're there.
I'm here.
Now, the next part is very important. They're going to take you. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you're looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. Where are they? If you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it.
You have a 96-hour...
What?
To never finding her.
No.
But if you don't, I will look for you.
Where is she?
I will find you. And I will kill you.
Good luck.
Taken from 2008, rated PG-13, 1 hour and 30 minutes exactly. That pleases Gav.
Oh, yes.
A retired CIA agent travels across Europe and relies on his old skills to save his daughter who's been kidnapped whilst on a trip to Paris. That's all you need to know.
Yep.
They basically fucked with the wrong guy.
Yep.
Written by, in part, Luc Besson, who produced it as well. Directed by Pierre Morel, who was a French director. And it is, as RJ said in his message, almost like a version of Commando. Daughter, kidnapped, taken. This time, though, they don't want to use Brian Mills to assassinate somebody. They just didn't realise who her dad is. They want to sell her into...
It's a more up-to-date...
sex trade.
Not saying the sex trade wasn't around in the 80s. Of course it was. But it's more up-to-date with people's knowledge of that stuff. So, yeah.
And it kind of hits harder in a way because he's got 96 hours to find her before she vanishes into that weird, horrible underworld.
Yeah.
And this is an interesting one. So I was late to the party with this one because it had been out about a year, back when it dropped in 2008, and everyone was talking about it. And I thought, I've got to check this out. But I can't imagine Liam Neeson.
We watched it together.
We did, didn't we? Yeah.
That was my second viewing of it.
I couldn't imagine Liam Neeson doing the things I thought, but I watched it. And I was pretty blown away by it.
Yeah.
My dad was also... it's a real dad movie as well. And I'm a dad now. And it really did open that door you know, after the Bourne movies, we were looking at a lot more sort of that
older,
quite realistic, older blokes that you wouldn't expect, like Keanu Reeves, for example. You know, and then we've recently had Nobody, and Nobody 2's coming out soon.
Bob Odenkirk. Yep.
Amazing movie. And there's a bunch of these movies coming out now where older people that you wouldn't even sometimes expect to be an action star. And Liam Neeson has done some action. You know, he was in Kroll back in the day, and he's been in a few stuff like Rob Roy. That was the other one he was in, and a few bits and bobs here and there. But he's not always known for his action. But in this movie, he kind of kicks a bit of ass, doesn't he?
He does indeed. And he's a big fella.
He's quite realistically as well. You'd believe
it goes with that sort of thing, like when you start getting movies with actors like you're literally saying the same reason Die Hard did well. Like it's that more realistic type person. It's not this Schwarzenegger like full of muscles and stuff like that. You can't all be like me.
I know. Luckily, I'm a lot more like Keanu Reeves. Well, I've got a beard. That's about it.
But yeah, one thing in this though, Liam Neeson's character, luckily he is a fucking crazy helicopter parent, but god damn it, like, what the fuck? She, like, when are you going to let this go? Like, he is over the top, like, protective of her, like, give her a break. Like, she would have been pissed off with him by now. He is over the top parenting.
At least it's addressed, though, because it's the reason that him and his wife split, partly because of his job, but partly because he was so paranoid, and still is, quite rightly so,
because of his job. But it's just such a weird dynamic. He's never there, and when he's there, he's just over the top, like, you're not safe. So it'd be like, this is like passive aggressive, like, parenting here.
It's got a pretty decent cast for the small amount of people that are in it. Obviously, we've got Liam Neeson, Famke Janssen, talking to Bond earlier. She was a Bond girl, and she's also in the X-Men movies and a few other bits and bobs. She plays his ex-wife, Lenore.
House on Haunted Hill remake.
Yeah, she was, yeah. Maggie Grace plays Kim, his daughter. And Kate Cassidy, who a lot of people who watch the DC CW shows will know, she was in that. She plays Amanda, his daughter's best friend. And randomly, Holly Valance, ex-Neighbours star / pop star, shows up as She-Ra. Yeah, not that She-Ra, guys. This isn't a He-Man film. But she plays a pop star called She-Ra. In this as well. She-Ra. And Xander Barkley also plays Stuart, his ex-wife's new boyfriend or husband, whatever he is. But there's not really an awful lot to character-wise, really. All you need to know is someone kidnaps Liam Neeson's daughter, and he goes on a rampage through Paris.
It's 90 minutes, like I said. Probably Chuck. I'm sure if we got into structures and we really broke films down and technical aspects, we could throw all these films, these 90-minute exact films together, structurally wise. Even if it wasn't, they've gone and chopped it. It would have been in the script anyway. But they've gone and chopped it. It's all exactly the same. Okay, at this point here, he's found out what he's got to do. That's the mission, and I love it though. It's a thing like this really cemented it actually. And there's a couple before sort of thing like Commando was in the 80s, but this was like opening up to like more normal person. But this sort of cemented this a lot more. And after this, there's loads of films which are just like this. The John Wicks have gone a bit over the top. They're getting really long, and then there's like part 1, 2, and 3, and 4, I think. And to be honest, I think that's just done like one film. Taken, this was like 1, 2, and 3. The third one, I don't think anyone's even taken.
There's a TV series as well, I think.
You know,
even the Transporter, we mentioned that, but that was Jason Statham.
Yeah, they always do.
Guys.
It's because they do well, so then you do enough one, and the sequel's always like, okay. Then the third one,
people were excited for the second one because they want more of the first one.
That's it.
And then they walk away from it like it was all right.
And then the first one, it's just got a few people like, well, I just maybe it'd be like the first one, maybe. And you have that hope. It's like the Jurassic Park films. Whenever another one comes out, you're like, it's gonna be shit. But you go, it's dinosaurs on the big screen though. I get to see dinosaurs. So, I think this is almost a cemented a blueprint in 2008 for a lot of other films exactly the same as this coming out. And I love them. It works. When these films work for a reason, they work. And people like them. It's simple.
It was absolutely slated when it came out.
Simple premises, you know.
Critics didn't like it. Empire Movies gave it 1 out of 5.
Then I guess all the audience came along and went, hang on, this is fucking great fun.
Well, where it really picked up steam was rental and DVD. And, you know, like I said, I think my dad bought this. I think I might have watched it because my dad owned it.
Well, at this point here, we're still being able to go down a Blockbuster and rent out a DVD.
Yeah.
You know. Let's get into it.
Cool. So we start off with very happy family footage, all happening in Brian's head. So Brian Mills, Liam Neeson's character. And it's all really a nice little montage to show us, the audience, that Brian once upon a time had a lovely family little setup with his wife and his daughter. And he wakes up alone in his apartment, retired from his job, whatever it might have been. We'll find out in a moment. And he's very set in his ways, does his own sort of little ritualistic things, drinks from the same cup, all that kind of stuff. A little bit Cobra in some ways. And he's very, very paranoid and has to do everything to the letter, to the point that he's buying a karaoke machine. It's not where every action movie starts, is it, Gab? We don't always start with a karaoke machine purchase. But he goes to this shop and the guy knows him because he's coming and looked at this karaoke machine over and over again. And he finally buys it, and it's a present for his daughter, Kim.
Why do you keep looking at it over and over? Just fucking buy the thing. Why do you have to decide on it?
I must have read that instruction manual from front to back 10 times over.
Should I buy it? I'm not sure.
Does it have an echo function on it?
And does it go to 11?
I just want to know, if I sing Reese Lightning on it, will I sound like John Travolta? That's all I need to know. So yeah, he wraps it up and he takes it to the party. Welcome to the party, pal.
Great, yeah, that's pretty much how it should be. Greeted by his ex-wife, who doesn't like him. It's just like, I don't like you. Yeah.
He's like, hello, Lenny. Nice to see you. She's like, my name is Lenore.
She tries to shut him down every moment. It's literally like, whoa, like she really does not like him.
Yeah, there's a lot of tension between them. And she basically says, she brings it all up again. She says, well, you were never there for her, you know, I just kept waiting for the phone call.
It's that info dump we need for the audience to know what's going on, really, don't we? So.
And some guy comes up to him and says, oh, the adult party is over the other side of the giant mansion. And he's like, I'm her father. And she's like, I work for her father. And he goes, her real father. It's like, Jesus, okay.
But that does show you quite cleverly there what's going on very quickly.
Yeah, and I do feel sorry for him because he's bought this probably $100 karaoke machine, maybe.
It's the thing, like he grew up as a kid going, I'm going to be a dad, but I'm actually going to get this job. Gets this job, has a kid, married and stuff, tries to be that, but his job was his life. He got too carried away, and then just kind of he's still always trying to do the right thing, but getting it wrong slightly.
And this is that classic.
Yeah, you feel bad
John
for him
Wick or whatever, where somebody
as a
is
dad,
pulled back into the game.
As a dad, you'd feel bad when he hands like the karaoke machine over, and then what present does she get?
Well, this is what I was going to say. So he basically gives her the karaoke machine. She opens it, even though Mum said, no, we're not opening the presents now. She wants to do it because she doesn't see her dad often.
Yeah, she wants to make her dad happy. That's why she's doing it.
She says, why did you get her a karaoke machine? And he says, well, she's always wanted to be a pop star. And she's like, yeah, when she was 10. And then his daughter whispers to him, I still want to be a singer. And he's like, ha, 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 ha. Fuck you, ex-wife. And then, unfortunately, they're like, Kim, can you see what your new dad's bought you? Look. He's bought her a big fucking horse, hasn't he?
He's bought her a horse, yeah.
A fucking horse. You can't compete with that. You cannot compete with that. So she gets on the horse and everyone's clapping.
But if it's got the echo function, it's close,
I suppose. And he just walks off like fucking karaoke machine. And he just walks off and that's that. He gets home.
Does the karaoke machine shit? No, it doesn't.
Can you ride it into battle? He adds a photo of her to his photo album, her 17th birthday.
Hang on, what side you on there? What, can you ride a karaoke machine into battle then?
Yes,
is that
you
like
can.
Apocalypse Now? Dun, 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 dun.
It's got wheels on it.
Riding the karaoke machine into battle.
Singing into it.
Yeah.
What song would you be singing in Riding into Battle, Gav, on a karaoke machine? War. Huh, what is it good for?
I think I'll sing some Beach Boys.
Fucking hell. I'm picking up good vibrations.
Good
No, it's got to be Let's
vibrations.
Go Surfing now. Riding that one into battle would really throw the enemies off.
Yeah.
Let's go surfing now. Everybody's learning
No,
how.
I'll do that. I'll tell you what I'll do. Bring your jukebox money.
What, Love Shack?
Yeah.
Jesus
That
Christ.
guy with his funny voice. Your jukebox money and a Love Shack. I would do Love Shack. That'd throw them well off.
That'd be amazing.
They'd be,
Liam
what is
Neeson
this?
riding into battle.
What is this Love Shack?
It's coming. It's a little old place where we can go.
We're all going to go to the Love Shack.
So he goes home. He adds the photo of her at a party to his little photo album. Knock on the door, and it's his buddies who are all still working in the industry,
Right.
security.
All right, one of his buddies, he's got 4 buddies there, and you know some of them from movies here and there. One of them, this is a fact that I learned from when I first watched this movie back in the day, and I was so happy because I looked at it and I was like, I know that guy, right?
Yep.
One of his mates, this is brilliant, one of his mates is the werewolf in Fright Night Part 2 and is the werewolf in Monster Squad.
Yeah, I believe that's
and he's
John
in,
Grease.
He's in loads of shit. This just reminded me. Right, my amazing mashup film idea.
Oh yeah.
This is everybody. Settle yourselves down. Buckle your seatbelts if you're driving. Hopefully, they're already buckled. Wind up the windows because your brain is going to be blown. You don't want it flying out the window. You want to keep it contained in your head. I love this, and you can see the movie. You just don't know how it's going to end, but you can definitely see the whole film. Taken, mashed with Hostel. It's perfect. It's so good. Liam Neeson goes to that building and just starts taking out people.
CD European.
Kind of almost goes Raid. It could do almost, you know. It's so good.
Because I was thinking Commando would work well with Rambo.
Yeah. What?
I don't know how it would work.
Oh, okay. But with this, though,
Yeah,
you
like-
can see Liam Neeson going in to Hostel.
Like to find his daughter.
Yeah.
She's in that hostel.
That'd be fucking brilliant.
A lot of weapons in there for him to use.
That'd be well good.
Be really good.
Anyway, I was excited by that. Let's carry on.
So his buddies show up who all still work in the security industry that he used to work in. And they have a barbecue and some beers and they have some banter and they all chat. And he says, when they're leaving, they say, look, Brian, you know, you should really come back. There's a job opening. And he's like, I don't want it. I told you I'm retired.
Yeah, is that because he's trying to now get his life back. He's trying to get his daughter back.
He's moved closer to his daughter.
Yeah.
He's living his little life, buying his karaoke machines. But then he says, look, it's security for a pop star called She-Ra. And he's like, oh, She-Ra. I used to watch He-Man when I was a kid. No, he says, She-Ra, okay. Because he knows his daughter likes She-Ra as well. So he says, okay, I'll do it. So that's it. We cut straight to the next day, concert. They're the security guys for this big pop star. She's like Beyonce or...
She's in Neighbours, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was, yeah. And she was a pop star as well. As a lot of women from Neighbours were, and men, in fact. In fact, if you were in Neighbours, you either went on and starred in Hollywood movies, like that guy.
Guy Pearce.
Yeah, that's his name, thanks. Or you went off and became a pop star, like Jason Donovan and Kylie Minogue and Holly Valance. And other ones. Craig McLaughlin. Many more. So they're on security detail for this She-Ra girl. And they get her inside. He chats to her a bit. He's like, my daughter wanted to be a singer. Do you have any tips for me? Like she's going to say, yes, of course. While I'm about to step on stage to 10 million people. So she says, yeah, tell her not to bother with this industry. Ha ha ha.
And he takes it really badly. He's thinking about, I've got ways I could kill you. He's thinking to himself.
I spent $99.99 on a karaoke machine. You're telling me it was a waste of time.
I wonder if I have the receipt still.
He's searching his pockets. So while she's on stage performing...
It's so when she walks out of the room, he's just there going, receipt. And he's also looking in his pocket for the receipt. That's the scene that was cut.
So him and his buddies are playing cards and chatting while she's on stage performing. His daughter calls him and he says, listen, do you recognise that song? And she's excited because he's like, yeah, I didn't come here. He says, I'm not here in the audience, by the way. I'm working here. Like he would have bought a ticket to see She-Ra and not taken his daughter with him. Like, it'd be a bit weird. Like if you phoned your dad, where are you, Dad? I'm at an Avril Lavigne concert. What? Yeah. What, on your own? Yes.
When he's
just here.
When he's with his mates, they're like talking about his daughter and stuff, and he can't help but talk about it because he's fucking obsessed by his daughter. Yeah. And they say, and he's like, she's off to college next year, and they're like, you're going to lose her. And he says, I won't lose her because I'll find her again. And it's like, whoa, dude, like she's going to college. Let her go to college. That's really like, he's full on. Like, at this point now, it's just like, I'd be like, whoa, dude, there's something wrong with you. I know you'd like stop the work, so you want to be close to your daughter, but this is fucking like almost psycho territory here. It's too full on. I
do feel sorry for him because his daughter, when he goes back in the room, he says, she's invited me to lunch tomorrow. And all his buddies are like, yay, that's the only thing you've ever wanted is your daughter to, interact with you a lot more. We don't realise until the next day this is all a setup by his ex-wife and his daughter.
And then they do a massive lie to him. So it's like the worst person, the most intense helicopter parent ever to exist, and you're feeding them the wrong information. Then just drop it at the airport and say, no, that's not what's happening actually. What?
It's just going to make him even more paranoid, isn't it?
Yeah, it's terrible. But we get to that because he just then, next second he's like, have a good trip. It's like, what? Okay.
Well, just before that, She-Ra is attacked by a crazy fan. Brian takes out the fan, and they sort of get her to safety. And she cries a little bit, and he says to her, "You're safe now." And she's sort of like, "Oh, thank you so much." And later on, she thanks him in her skimpy dressing gown. She gives him a kiss on the cheek, and she says, "You said your daughter was into singing," and he's like, I did, yeah. I bought her a karaoke machine and everything.
I couldn't find the receipt.
And she says, well, look, here's a card. On this card is the number of my vocal coach and my agent. As a thank you for saving me, tell her to give my agent a call. Wow. He cannot wait to see Kim tomorrow now, because not only is he going for lunch with her, he's going to tell her She-Ra's vocal coach and agent want you to call them.
Which is a bit much because she's just said she wants to be a singer. My kids all the time, I want to be a YouTuber. Right, okay, yeah. The next day it's something totally different. Can she actually sing, or is this going to be a total waste of time? Okay, let's hear you sing. Right. Yeah, I haven't got a shot, I'm afraid. Sorry.
So the next day he meets Kim, and oh, look, her mum's here as well. Oh, I didn't realise you were going to be here.
You're here.
Yeah. And she says, look, basically, Dad, the reason you're here is I want to go to Paris, and I need both my parents' consent to be able to go because I'm only 17. And he's like, I'm not comfortable with this. You're only 17. And he just keeps saying, I'm not comfortable with this. I'm not comfortable with this. I'm not comfortable with this.
All right, childhood trauma.
And she starts crying, Kim does. And his wife says, Jesus Christ, Brian, for God's sake, you're just so overbearing. All she wants is to go to Paris. And he's like, but we didn't talk about it. You've just sprung this on me. And then she gets up to him and he goes, wait, Kim, I've got a phone number for you. And she goes, I don't want it. I only want one thing, and that's to go to Paris. And she runs off.
But he's like, I know the world.
I know Paris.
But at some point, she's going to grow up and be able to do this herself. It's just crazy. He's just, I don't know.
Well, he thinks about it, and he goes and knocks on the door, and he says, look, you can go to Paris, but here's a list of rules. You've got to ring me 65 times a day. Here's a phone I've given you, which is encrypted, which I can trace. And I need to know where you're staying, who you're staying with, every last thing about you. And, basically, you might as well just have a tracker on her the whole time. But she's just happy enough that he said yes.
Do you think when it's all finished and one day they're there, the daughter's got over it and stuff, the trauma a little bit, and it's all after this movie, like months after this movie, 6 months after this movie. The mum's there as well, and she's like, I never got to say thank you. And he's like, ha! Told you so! I fucking told you so at the restaurant. The world's not a safe place. I fucking told you so.
Maybe.
Did he get it? Did he get that one in there? Because he should do at least, because all that helicopter parenting ended up saving the day.
It did. Well, he says, the other condition is I'll drive you to the airport, because he wants to say goodbye. It's the first time she's leaving the country. So he does. He drives her to the airport, and he says that I just want you to be really, really safe. And she talks a little bit more exposition. What did you do? I never knew what you did when I was a kid, Dad. And he just says, I worked for the government as a preventer of bad things. That's an interesting description, isn't it?
Yeah.
A preventer of bad things. And he says, so I know how the world is, and it's made me not paranoid, it's just made me very aware. And that's all he says. So anyway, while he's dropping her off, she meets her buddy Amanda, and he takes her bags out of the boot. And what does he find, Gav? A map of Europe. They're planning on following, of all bands, U2.
They're following U2 a tour around Europe.
And obviously because her mum and now her stepdad are super rich, she can afford to just fly all over Europe with
nice
her buddy
hotels.
Amanda. Yeah. But he's like,
you would think, though,
hang on.
You'd think, though, because the dad's so rich, he'd have like a handler would go with them just to keep an eye on him. I'd have thought.
It's mental. So she's essentially not a groupie, but she's going to be following them round.
Yeah, I doubt they're getting into like strange groupie sex sessions with you.
He says, no. He says to his.
He must be like, you two, Bono. We used to drink in the same pub.
He says to his ex-wife, you are there in your bubble in your mansion. You don't know what the real world's like. And she says, well, she won't know what the real world's like unless we let her go out and see it and experience it. So she's got a point.
Oh, of course.
But they tricked him.
But that trick then right at the end, just to say that, just at the airport when it's go. But then she's told that. He's like, you, what the hell? Then the next second, he's like, have fun, bye. And he's waving. What? Okay.
He's fuming.
Well, no, he's not. He's not. When he says bye, he actually looks like he's quite like in this.
No, but inside.
I'm sure he must be. But
he's bottled it up. They get to Paris. Amanda and Kim. They're literally there for about 2 minutes, and there's a man chatting them up.
Hi, I'm Peter. This is basically Hostel. This is what, as soon as I saw this, I was like, this is like Hostel. And I was like, Liam Neeson in Hostel.
He says to them, it's very busy around here. Why don't you two, where are you from? California. And he goes, I wish they all could be
Californian girls.
And they're like, oh, Peter. And he says, let's share a taxi.
It's pretty slimy.
And basically, this is his way of finding out where they're staying. He even asks what apartment. She's like, the whole 5th floor. My cousins are rich. And then he says, all right, I'll come and pick you up for a party later. Gets on the phone and says, 2 17-year-old girls from America. Gives the address, 5th floor.
Yeah.
So he's basically, the spider has caught a couple of flies.
And we cut to Liam totally panicking in the middle of the night that he hasn't had a phone call that she's landed in Paris. Admittedly, he did say, least leave me a message or something, and she hasn't. But he's like, oh my God. So he rings up the ex, have you heard from her? And she's like, no, I haven't. Wakes her up and stuff. Chill out, it'll be all right.
But then Kim gives him a call in the end, thank God. Yeah. And thank God she did, because lo and behold, she's on the phone to him.
This is all the good. This is when watching this movie. This is when it's quite the first time watching it. It's quite fun here because it's almost a safety bracket. Like when the cops turn up or something happens, there's a safety figure there. So Liam Neeson's the one who's going to save and look after, even though he's not there. we've got him on the phone discussing with her and giving her advice, like at that moment, and which is actually, and we know that this is going to help out. Like you say, it's thank God that she rang at that point. It's quite a coincidence that she did. He must be like, I know this was going to happen. Like, how does this happen to you? Like, you said it, and it's going to happen. It's
almost a bit like a horror movie as well, because it's a really good way it's shot.
You could change this into a horror movie.
Because she's on the phone to her dad, and she sees her buddy Amanda dancing through 2 windows, so on the other side of the apartment. And then suddenly she goes, oh my God, Dad, there's men here. And he's like, what, the cousins? And she's like, no, they're not here. They're in Italy. Oh my God, Dad, they're men here. Oh my God. And then she sees them grab Amanda. And she's like, they grabbed her. And he goes, oh my God, listen to me. Follow my instructions carefully. He says, go into a bathroom. I'm going to tell you some things now. And he tells her a few bits and bobs. Then he says, tell me what you can hear. And then he says, right, now go and get under a bed. And then there's a really amazing acting from Liam Neeson here now, where it's just all on his face. And he says, listen very carefully to me. And he pauses. He says, because he's got to tell his daughter this really horrible thing. He says, in a minute, they're going to take you. And you can see he's really like distressed, but he's keeping calm because he's got to give the instructions. And he says, what I want you to do is put the phone on the floor. And as soon as they take you, just shout out as much as you can about them. Heights, how many of them there are, what they look like, hair colour, anything you can. And I will find you. I will. She's like scared. And then they come in the room. And this is just like in Commando when Jenny's under the bed. And they come in the room. And then we get that fake out where they leave the room. But then all of a sudden they grab her and pull her out. And we hear her screaming some stuff. We can't quite make it out. Later on he will. And then we get this.
He's on his face. You can see, obviously, helicopter parent there, listening to his daughter be kidnapped. He can really, like, in his face, you can see just like the panic and that, the moment, sort of weakness, if that makes sense.
It's a really great piece of acting from Liam Neeson. And then we get the classic, everybody knows it, but I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm not going to do it in Liam's voice.
It's very good.
But it's got to be done. There's a little moment where somebody clearly picks up the phone, her phone, and Liam Neeson waits. Then all he says is coldly, I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. But if you're looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have any money. What I do have is a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career that can make me a nightmare for people like you. If you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it. I won't look for you. I won't pursue you. But if you don't, I'll look for you. I'll find you. And I will kill you. And then we get a long pause, and then it's just good luck.
Good luck.
And it hangs up. This reminds me of a really great Mel Gibson film that people don't talk about, Ransom. Because there's a moment in that where his son's obviously been kidnapped. And he's on TV saying, you know, I don't know what to do. My son's been taken. I've got a reward here if anyone can help me. And then he flips it. And he says, actually, you know, fuck all of this. This money is to anyone that can get me information. And he actually flips it on the kidnappers and says, this reward is to bring you to me. I want to find you. And have you seen Ransom? I'm sure you probably...
yeah, a long time ago. I have to watch it again.
Because it kind of reverses it almost, because he's weak at the moment because his daughter's been kidnapped. Then he flips it and turns it into a threat about
that sounds
get
good.
her back.
I'll have to watch it again, yeah.
Yeah, it's great movie. And that is the scene that's inspired a billion memes and GIFs, but it's great stuff. Yeah. So it's on now.
He goes to the ex's house and goes and says she's been taken. And she's like, oh my God. It's like, I would have a million questions. What do you mean she's been taken? Taken by who? Where? What happened? What do you mean? You just burst in the middle of the night. What do you mean taken? Explain. She's just like, oh no. But obviously, it's a 90-minute movie. We don't have time to talk.
He says to her new husband, Stuart, he says, right, do you have any enemies? You've done this, this, and this trade. And he's like, how do you know all my details? And it's like, do you really think I'd let my daughter live with just anyone without doing an extensive search in their history? And he goes, okay. And he goes, don't worry, I'll get her back. And he says, what do you need? What do you need? And he says, you own an airline company. Get me a plane to Paris.
When?
Tomorrow.
Yesterday.
Yeah, it's like,
and he's
it's
looking
cool.
around the daughter's room trying to find anything which would give him some tips. Like, I don't know what he's looking for, but okay. So he gets a plane to Paris. The next thing we actually, his mate rings up and tells him all about. He said to him, like, you know, can you listen to this? Obviously, give me information. His mate comes back with an info check on basically the people who have taken his daughter, and says that it's just a group. They're known for trafficking women, drugs, and they get them high, and then they turn them to sex workers. And he says, you know, I don't want to say this, but you have a 96-hour window until you'll never see her again.
And he says, she described she's shouted tattoos. They've all got tattoos on their hands. They're part of this Albanian gang. And she shouted, and I heard one of the voices, we've analysed it, and it's a guy called Marco, and he was last seen here, here, and here. So he's even got some information on, like, the guy. So Friends in High Places, Liam Neeson's already got quite a lot of information, and at least he's got somewhere to start, rather than just landing in Paris and having to search absolutely everywhere.
We cut to a shot of him on the plane listening to his dictaphone, just saying good luck over and over and over obsessively, to the point it's like, oh my god, and this eternal anger is with good luck. It's a bit much.
He gets to Paris, he goes to the apartment, he searches it.
He gets to Paris and starts doing parkour. Yep. So starts fucking jumping all over the place. So what is going on with you?
He's climbing around the window to get in, isn't he?
Yeah. I reckon he's a meth head. Meth head.
I'm a meth head. He builds a picture of what happens.
He kind of does slow parkour, to be honest. He's kind of a bit slow, just kind of windowsill to windowsill.
I'm going to jump from this tree onto this.
Slowly.
Very slowly.
Yeah.
It's about how you do it, not how fast you do it. He builds a picture of what happened in the room. He finds the phone. He takes the memory card from the phone and looks at the pictures that are on it. And he finds a picture of Amanda and Kim that Peter took, and he can see Peter's reflection. So he zooms in on this guy, and he thinks, right, he knows the routine. He knows that this is probably the guy that's the spotter at the airport. So he looks around the airport, and lo and behold, there's Peter, probably with Sully from Commando, hitting on girls as soon as they land at the airport.
I like at the house when he even got under the bed to listen to the dictaphone. Yeah. Just
so he can relive what his daughter...
It's a bit much.
That's all good. Yeah, it's believable. Yeah. So, yes, he sees Peter and Brian grabs him.
Well, very quickly, sorry, just before this, he finds a memory card.
I've said that.
Yeah, I know, but when he zooms in on the memory card, it's like, this is like, what, a couple of megapixels? It had been
2008.
Shit. It had been shit. He manages to zoom right in, and then get high def, like, to know who it's like. That is absolutely incredible for, like, a smallest little reflection. That is just amazing technology.
Well, he knows this Peter guy's face now, so he goes to the airport and he sees him doing the same routine with another woman, like a Dutch woman or something.
In a taxi.
Like, let's get a taxi together. But before she can get in, Brian grabs him, beats the shit out of him. Another huge black guy shows up, and Brian just pummels him as well.
Yeah.
And then
taxi
he chases
driver's
Peter.
like, fuck this shit. And so then the guy who's beaten up at that point is run off. So he gets in a taxi and he's like, oh, boss, fucking taxi.
Yep. He chases him. Chases Peter.
He doesn't. Peter's not very good at choosing what to do to get out of situations.
Well, he jumps off a bridge onto a lorry, which is, pretty Jackie Chan, decent.
Yeah.
But then when he gets off the lorry, he doesn't remember that he's still in the middle of a really high speed freeway, and unfortunately, he gets final destinationed by a big truck.
He does. So that info line has been flattened.
So that's that. Can't get any more out of that guy.
No.
And we now meet Jean-Claude, not Van Damme.
JC.
But it would be amazing if Jean-Claude was in this.
Internal security, and he's like an old pal, basically.
He's like, he says, hello, Jean-Claude. And he's like, oh, God. If you're in town, then it's all going to go tits up, isn't it, Liam? Jesus Christ. And he's like, look, I thought you were a friend, and I need to ask you some help. My daughter's been taken, and I've got 96. Well, I did have 96 hours. I've now got 80 hours to find her.
This is another movie where I watched in Breaking Bad. It happened in there. Someone died, and they just went, yeah. And so, did you kill him? They didn't say anything. It's like this in here. This Jean-Claude is like, so, oh, what, the spotter? He's dead. What about Peter? And he says, what, you killed him? And he just doesn't say anything. He doesn't need to just let them think that he's murdered another person. He could be like, he jumped to his death. I didn't actually kill him. He doesn't have, I don't know why he just lets it go. He's like, nah, make me sound cooler. Let's just think that I killed him.
Now, obviously, if you're listening to this review, you'll know this, but Jean-Claude, it turns out, we will find this out properly later, is actually a bit of a bastard, because he is basically taking bribes and letting the Albanians do whatever they want, because he now works behind a desk. And as he says later on, I work behind a desk for somebody behind a bigger desk. I take what I get for my pay, and if I get extra pay to look after my family, then so be it. So he's on the take, but we'll find that out a bit later on. And we do see later on that he's got a wife and kids, like I say, and he's on the phone saying, Brian's in town. You know what that means. He's been, I think he says he's been activated or something like that.
In another country, this was known as 96 Hours.
Oh, that's a pretty decent title. 48 Hours, the sequel, 96 Hours. Brian picks up a translator. He says, are you the man that wanted an Albanian translator? He says, yes, I am. Okay, and what do you need me to translate? How much do you charge? He says, right, here's enough for 10 hours.
Does he think he's getting into some gay situation?
He says, well, what do you mean? And he says, how much do you charge?
Yeah.
He says, wait here. That's your job right now, is to wait here.
Yeah, I don't understand. Right, yeah.
He goes up to the guy's like trying to sell himself as well. He goes, yes, I translate Albanian, Algerian, and he starts listing. And he's like,
fairly innocent, isn't he?
I don't give a shit as long as you can translate Albanian. And then he goes off to speak to a sex worker. He leaves the Albanian translator in the car, and he goes over to her. And his premise here, basically, he's here to get the pimp to come out, to cause a bit of a ruckus, so that he can sort of figure out where the pimp is, who the pimp is, and they can listen in to him. So he goes up to her and he's asking lots of questions like, am I allowed to kiss you on the mouth? Because where I come from, $200 covers a lot. What about anal? Can we do that? Will you suck my toes? Are we able to do anything like that? If I bought a strap on, would you be interested in pegging me? He doesn't say any of that, but it'd be brilliant if he does. Anyway, she keeps saying to him, look, the more you talk to me, the less time I've got to grab one of my
guys are coming
customers.
up to her and then just driving off, and she's just, oh, for God's sake, she's realised that he's useless. So basically, he's trying to annoy her to the point where the pimp's going to come along because he wants to put a bug on the pimp, and that's what he does.
That's what he does. The pimp takes €100 off him and says, I'll take 50 and 50 for you being an asshole. And then Liam gets back in the car with the translator and he says,
who's super like,
translating.
I'm really confused by this. Like, you're just annoying, like talking to, you want me to watch you talk to sex workers and then get almost beaten up by pimps? I don't know what's going on.
Am I going to be in a threesome with you in the sex worker?
What's happening here? Yeah.
But he basically, his job lasts about 5 seconds because he says, what are they talking about?
Yeah, listen to
He says they're talking about football, they're talking about you, now they're talking about a warehouse.
And he says, are you sure you want to just keep listening? Tell me. Okay.
And then he says, right, you can get out of the car now. I've got everything I need. Oh, where's my Albanian dictionary? And he gives him that as well. He says, see you later. And the guy's like, I've just earned 10 hours worth of pay for sitting in a car and telling a guy 5 seconds worth of information, but I'll take it. Pretty decent, bit scary, and almost got into a threesome, telling his wife about it later on.
I think almost got into a threesome, love.
With Liam Neeson, which had been with threesome with Liam Neeson. That rhymes nicely, doesn't it?
A Neeson.
A Threemson.
Whatever, carry on.
So we are now on a construction site, and this is where the pimp is, and this is where they keep a lot of the girls.
It's all really grubby with like little tented squared areas up between dividing the sex workers. It's horrible.
And they're all on drugs, they're all on heroin, and it's really sad actually, and this is probably quite realistic. So Liam gets in the queue of the punters. He goes in and he just starts pulling back all the curtains trying to find his daughter. He finds her jacket and he says to the girl, "Where did you get this? Where did you get this? Where did you get this coat?" And all she keeps saying, because it's so sad, because she's on so much drugs, she just keeps saying, "I'm good. I'm really good. I'm really good." Because she's been like, brainwashed to just tell people that she's really good in bed. It's awful. Then there's a bit of a fight and a shootout. He beats up a few guys, escapes in a truck with the girl because he wants to sober her up to get more information out where his daughter is. Excuse me. And the car chase that goes on for quite a while.
It's kind of like Raw Deal through the sort of, or even I guess Tango and Cash through the sort of area, the location.
It is a bit, yeah. It is Tango and Cash actually.
And Raw Deal's the same at the end.
Well, the pimp ends up getting beheaded by JCB.
Yeah.
He just drives into it and it takes the top of the car off and therefore I assume his head. Meanwhile, Jean-Claude gets a call from the cops saying your buddy Brian has been blowing up pimps and, beheading them and rescuing sex workers. So what the fuck do we do about this? Brian switches cars. He takes the girl to a hotel. He makes an IV for her to get the drugs out of her system. And there's a phone call. It's Jean-Claude. He wants to meet him. So he goes to meet Jean-Claude, but he doesn't, does he, Gav? No. He tricks him.
Yeah.
And Jean-Claude basically says to him, "Look, they want to arrest you. There's been a few deaths associated with you, a couple of explosions, but I persuaded them to give you a ticket home. No questions asked. Forget your daughter. I don't think you're ever going to see her again. Take the ticket and go home." But really, he's trying to keep him on the phone long enough so they can trace where he is and arrest him. However, Brian has got the old walkie-talkie next to the old mobile phone trick going on.
That's very clever.
So when they get there, they just find a radio next to the phone, and that's that.
He's taken. I know you already said it, but he's taken that girl to the hotel. Do you know what? Because he goes in first, chats to the guy and says, "Oh, nice to see you again. Yeah, room, yeah." Then he goes back out and comes back in with an unconscious teenage girl. It's going to be the odd question, like, surely.
It's also the kind of hotel that probably isn't very, it's probably quite normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What the hell do you want? What do you think I want, you mean old bastard? I want a room.
She comes to because she's been on drip and stuff, and he's been sorting her out, and talks about the jacket, and then he goes to her house, doesn't he?
Yeah, she gives him an address as to where she was. She says Paradise. I think it was called Paradise. So he goes there, and he pretends to be Jean-Claude. He bursts in. He's got some bollocks on him, hasn't he? He walks in and he goes, "Where's your boss?" And there's just this place is just.
He kind of comes across as that you could play that character fairly well. So he's fairly like you can imagine. Yeah, he's quite straight in there, very positive, stern. He's quite a big guy and like neatly dressed and like, yeah, he could be a bent copper. Do you know what I mean?
Well, this place is basically full of dodgy Albanian gangsters, but he doesn't give a shit. He walks around going, "Get your boss. I want to speak to him now. Where's Marco? Get me." So he goes up into the sort of kitchen where these 4 or 5 guys are sat. And like we said earlier, he scans the room straight away. He sees everything that's in there. He looks at all of their hands with the tattoos on them. And he basically says, here's what we're going to do. You're going to be paying more money to keep this operation secret. The price of satellites has gone up. The price of everything's gone up. And if our prices go up, then your prices go up. And that's the end of it. And these guys are like, oh. So they pull out a load of cash and pay him off. And he says, "Oh, which one of you's Marco, by the way?" And they all say, "Oh, we're all called Marco." And he says, "Marco from whichever province it is." And they go, "Yeah, we're all that guy." And he's like, okay. And then he says, the thing is with you guys, you come to this country, yeah, you think you can bend the rules, you can do what you want to women and with drugs. And then he says a brilliant line. He says, your arrogance offends me. And then he says the last final bit, which is, oh, before I go, can one of you translate this bit of paper for me? And he's written down, good luck.
I think he's worked out from the people talking who he thinks it is.
Yeah.
So he gives it to this one particular person, and he just says, good luck. And as soon as he does it, he's like, right, that's it. I'm kicking ass.
He says, you don't remember me, do you? I spoke to you 2 days ago on the phone. I told you I would find you. And the guy's like, oh, fuck.
And then he
This
just
is that
kills.
guy.
No, he just kills everybody.
Kills everybody except Marco. He literally walks around the house, taking out every single guy. Comes back in to find Marco. Marco wakes up in a bad place. He's got 2 spikes in his legs, and he's wired him up to the mains, the electricity.
And then it's this way he just starts discussing about different terrains and different territories and places where their current's not very good, and it's really annoying. You start torturing someone, and then just the current's not there, and it's just no use. But here's good. The current's really good. It's stable. You could throw anything at it and it'll just keep going. And it's like, oh my God.
And we should also mention, when he was killing those bad guys, he found Amanda dead. Kim's best friend, Amanda, was dead in a bed, OD'd. So he's got that drive now because he thinks, shit, time is ticking here.
Yeah.
So Marco tells him a little bit of information, and he says to her, what did you do? He says, we sold her. He says, you sold my daughter? Obviously, that you don't want to tell Liam Neeson that. No. And he gives him a name, Sinclair. We sold him to a guy called Sinclair. He says, okay, I believe you, but it won't save you. And he says something along the lines of, I'm going to flick this switch on, and it's not going to be turned off until they cut the power off because you haven't paid the bills. And he just walks out the room, leaving the power on.
Yeah.
Electrocuting this guy. Ooh, baby. Jean-Claude's at home. He gets home. And who's dropped by, Gav, when he gets home from work?
Hey, it's your old buddy, Liam.
Brian's here. And his wife's like, oh, Brian, he's told me all about how you guys used to work together. He's told me that he wants to buy a place in Paris. He's a great guy. We've been chatting. So he's really been sweet talking the wife. And she says, oh, put the kids to bed first. Extra stress, because putting the kids to bed is stressful. So Jean-Claude's got Brian in his house. And now he's got to put his kids to bed, which he does. He grabs his gun from the bathroom. But of course, Liam would have known about that. And they argue at the dinner table. And he says, please tell me you're not too involved in this shit. And his wife's like, what shit? What are you involved in, Jean-Claude? And he pulls the gun out, but there's no bullets in it. And he says, you're getting lazy. Of course I knew where the gun was and the bullets, etc. He then just shoots Jean-Claude's wife.
In the arm?
Yeah, but he still shoots her.
I do like that, though, because she's just 5 seconds ago, oh, are you all right? How's it going? This is nice, isn't it?
He says, give me the information on Patrice St. Clair, or I'll put a bullet through your wife's head. And that'll be the last thing that you ever see before I make your kids orphans.
Wow.
Let that sink in.
Yeah.
And then when he leaves with the information, he says, thanks, Jean-Claude. Apologise to your wife for me. Wow. Oh, Brian says sorry, by the way, lovely. All right. He says sorry for shooting you in the arm. So, we're coming up to the end already. It moves at a rapid pace, this film, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Brian Gate crashes a big party. He knocks out a security guard, puts the body in a closet, and works his way through a few more guys into the buying room. So he takes a bottle of champagne into this Arab guy
it's an
who's sat in a little room.
Auction for human trafficking.
Yep. And they're bidding on girls.
And he's
the guy,
pretending to be the person who's like giving wine to the person who's sitting in a chair, drinking wine, all looking all suave, clicking basically yes to when they want to bid.
It's like a young, slick Arab guy who works for the big boss, we find out later on, and he's sort of bidding on what he thinks his boss would like. You know, what sort of girls would my boss like this week? And they bring out one last girl.
Yeah, luckily, he steps in just at the time when his daughter comes out. It's very, very handy for him.
And he says to the guy, buy her now. And he makes him...
Puts a gun to his neck, yeah.
Yeah. And we get the voiceover saying, sold. And just as you think he's got his daughter back...
When he does that, I feel like he should just stomped in there, just fucking taken it and just started shooting everyone. I don't know why he just hesitated and said, buy her. Just stomp the fuck in there and do it.
I guess his plan...
Because it doesn't work, though. He fucks up in a second. He fucks up. He's knocked out.
I guess his plan was probably to go with the Arab guy to collect the girls, get his daughter, and then get her out of there. But like you say, it doesn't work because as soon as he steps out of the room, because he's killed about 6 guys on his way there, they've all been alerted to it. Yeah. So he gets knocked out and he wakes up tied up. And he says, "What are you doing?" They say to him, "Don't know what the hell you're doing here, buddy, but look, you're not wanted here, and this is all business." And he says, "I'm her father."
When he got knocked out, I thought to myself, midpoint turn. Then I looked at it and went, nope, we've got 18 minutes of the film left. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the guy says to him again, this is all business.
When he's tied up, it's very Riggs and Lethal Weapon, isn't it?
Yeah. Except Endo wasn't there electrocuting him.
Yeah.
Well, he breaks off the pipe, knocks a guy out, fights his way out, confronts Sinclair and says, where is she? And he says, she's on a boat. But listen, you don't have to kill me. It was all business. It's just business. And he goes, it was all personal to me. And he just blows him away.
Yeah.
He chases the Arab that brought his daughter all the way to the docks, and he sees them getting on a yacht with the girls. So he steals a car, he follows the boat, and we see this big fat Jabba the Hutt guy on the boat. He's the one that's bought all the girls. He's the big boss, and he's like,
What's funny here is all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this guy who hasn't been in the movie whatsoever, has nothing to do with the story at all, and the boss guy and the guy who was at auction turn into the big bad people like he's been after them the whole time. He just goes on this boat and just starts killing all these people. That guy was just like, I just sent him off there to get a woman for me. I didn't know there was going to be an assassin coming in and just start shooting us all and killing us all. But all of a sudden he turns into the bad guy, and it's like, this is weird because he was never the bad guy. It's really strange.
Well, Brian, like you said, he jumps on the boat, he fights his way along the boat, taking out loads of guys. The girls get brought into the boss, and they say there's someone on the boat. We don't know who he is. Let's take him out. So they go off. They're trying to fight back. He fights the younger buyer guy.
Who, out of anyone he has to pick, this guy can almost fight Liam back.
And he's got a giant knife as well.
Yeah. So it's just really strange. I wish it had just been more him trying to get his daughter back, and that was the ending. Like, do you know what I mean? It's weird that it just flips into this whole other thing on a boat. It's like, it's okay, but I don't know, it's a bit strange.
It's quite a satisfying death, though, because he kills the guy with a champagne bottle, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Sort of bottles him in the chest with it.
Yeah.
And then he walks into the main bedroom to find the big fat guy with a knife to Kim, and he says, it's quite cool, actually. He says, listen, we can negotiate. And before he can even finish the word, Liam Neeson just blows him away.
He does, yeah. Which is like Commando, when they're about to start talking and he just shoots
That's
him.
right.
Yeah. It's very, very strange coincidences. Just before, when he's having a fight on the boat with some people, for about 40 seconds, some really bad techno just comes in. Out of nowhere, there's no techno through this whole soundtrack. Then all of a sudden, there's just some techno comes in there. For no reason at all. It's really out of place. I guess it was some French techno artist whose dad had money in stakes as a producer of the film and said, Dad, get my song in there. It was just weird. It was fucking weird.
I feel like there were a lot of movies that were happening around Paris at the time that had that kind of soundtrack, like the Bourne movies.
But
there was a couple of Jet Li movies that took place in France as well.
And
Luc Besson.
You did around sort of mid-90s. Yeah, you're definitely in Taxi and sort of those sorts of films. But that's not, techno's not in it at any other point in the film. When it comes in, it's really odd.
Well, as RJ said, it's mainly a haunting piano loop, really.
Apart from some techno.
Apart from this little bit of techno. But I guess Liam Neeson, he needs that to fight the bad guys.
Should have gone Commando, where all of a sudden there's just no music for a minute and a half, and it's like, this is weird. Which you should listen to that again. Go back to Commando and just watch that last little bit where the music cuts out. It's really odd.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
You could put your own music into it if you wanted.
His daughter says, "You came for me," and he says, "I told you I would." She cries, they hug, and then we don't see how he gets her home on a plane, but he does. He avoids all arrest, gets her back to America. She's reunited with the mum at the airport, and Lenore thanks him. And his daughter says, "I love you, Dad."
What happened? Did he just hop off the boat full of dead people for it just to carry on going to some people to find a boat full of dead people? What happened? How did he get out of this situation and not get arrested at the airport?
I guess he probably called Jean-Claude and said, "You need to get us home now."
I guess he must have got a private jet straight away, but it's just like very weird how he got away with that.
Well, just when you think that's the end, because in the 80s it would have ended there. But this, we get a little extra scene.
Well, when he comes off the airport, it looks like Liam's just had a nice weekend away in Europe. He's got a bit of an arm and a sling. That's it. It's like, you've just slaughtered so many people.
Like 50 people?
And had so many fights, but you just look like you've just had a nice weekend away.
Also, your best friend's daughter OD'd in a sex house. Dead. Like, you've got to explain that to her parents.
Yeah.
But at the very end, there's a knock on the door, and he's with he's like, "Dad, where are we?" And he's like, "You're going to like this, I promise. Remember that karaoke machine? This is even better." And who should open the door but Shira? And she says, "I have the..." Oh, no, sorry, that's the other Shira. She says, "Oh, welcome. Your dad tells me you like singing." And he gets his daughter singing lessons with basically Beyonce. And it's cheesy, but...
It does the job. It's 90 minutes. It flies through. I just wish, I don't know why the last 18 minutes include like a new boss, some Arab boss on a boat. I don't know, it's a bit weird, but it was good.
It's kind of like a video game where you think you've completed the last level and then you
there's another
get
one.
a bonus boss to fight.
It was just odd. But yeah, thumbs up. It's a fantastic film. I've watched it. That's probably my fourth time, maybe. It's an enjoyable film.
The sequel is all right.
It was okay, and then the third
one
just
is really bad. Yeah, it's a shame. Because this was gold dust. It should have just been left as one, really.
Yeah, and I feel like that with a lot of them, like John Wick. I think you should just have one John Wick.
Yeah, and I do appreciate the John Wick movies, but
if I was going to watch a John Wick movie, I'm going to go, I'd watch the first one because that's quite fun, and it does have a wrap up. You could watch that as a solo movie and go, cool. Wicked.
I rewatched the fourth one again the other day, and it is 2.5 hours long, but I do enjoy it.
Still don't know if I've seen it or not. I can't tell.
It's the one with the steps where he fights his way up the steps.
Oh yeah, no, I have seen it.
And then falls back down, so he has to fight his way all the way back up. Poor old Keanu.
Right, let's get out of here.
Yes, we'll come back for the outro.
And we're back again.
Back again. So that was episode 176. Taken and Commando. Thank you to our King patron RJ McCready for selecting.
Thank you. It's a nice appreciated films to review.
Yeah, we always love to chat about things that are slightly off the grid of horror. So I'm going to take the crown back now. Polish that up, put that away. Thank you, RJ. Well, that was that episode. Let's talk about what's coming up, Gav.
Okay.
In our next episode, episode 177, get your ketchup at the ready. Maybe a fried egg as well if you want, because we are having a bacon sandwich.
I was like, where's he going?
Kevin Bacon. It's a Kevin Bacon special because he's dabbled in horror and he's a unique actor. And he started off in Friday the 13th.
Right.
So we're going to be looking at 1990s Tremors.
Excellent.
Big monster worms. Good creature feature. We haven't done one of those for a while.
No.
And we're pairing that up with the very similar to The Sixth Sense. Same year, 1999's Stir of Echoes. Great movie. And we'll talk all about Kevin Bacon, Seven Degrees of Bacon, and all that kind of stuff.
I am a fan of both those films.
Yeah, he's good, and he plays a good baddie in some films that he's in as well. So we'll talk about all of that. After that, it's a director's special.
Ooh,
it's Wes Craven.
Ah,
and we're looking at Scream 2 and Scream 3.
Hey, nice.
From 97 and 2000.
I need to see. I need to pick up on Blu-ray. I think I've got 1 and 2. I think I need to get 3.
Yeah. So that's going to be fun. After that is another... But as yet, I have no more information to give you because I am awaiting information from said patron. So it's a mystery as to what that episode will be.
Okay.
I can tell you what the episode after that is if you want. Just to keep you, to wet your whistle, as it were.
Go on then.
Okay, episode 180, which will be coming after that, is...
180!
It's returning back to the Child's Play franchise.
Oh.
We'll be doing Chucky 5 and Chucky 6.
Okay.
Plowing our way through those bad boys.
Nice.
So we've got a lot of stuff coming up, and obviously as we get closer and closer to the summer, we'll be having our annual... Jason double bill as well, so that'll be cool.
I found a thing.
If you let my daughter go, that'll be the end of it. But if
Here we go.
don't, I will look for you. I will find you and I will kill you. What I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I have acquired over a long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. I don't know who you are.
Hopefully that came out for the listeners.
Yeah.
There we go, Liam Neeson singing ish. So that's what's coming up. We've got Kevin Bacon, Wes Craven, an unknown patron pick, followed by a double bill of Chucky movies.
Cool.
Lots of good stuff coming up.
Yeah. Nice. Just getting there to the 200s.
Yes, I know. And like I say, we're getting close to our summer special where we'll be covering the 2 more Jason movies.
And thank you to our... Sorry, you carry on.
No, go on.
And thank you to our patrons, obviously, because with you, non-patrons, you can thank the patrons for episodes being out because life is busy at the moment. So it's really nice that we can do these episodes for you guys.
Indeed. Okay, well, let's do some housekeeping and then we will say goodnight and goodbye and we'll say good luck. So, we have been and always will be the podcast on Haunted Hill, a proud member of Legion Podcast Network, and also falling under the Deadbolt Media umbrella. If you want to know more about Legion Podcast, just go to legionpodcast.com. You can find our show and all our past episodes, as well as all the other shows on the network and all their past episodes too. You can email us on the podcast on Haunted Hill at outlook.com if you want to ask questions, suggestions, and majestions. I don't know. I couldn't think of something to rhyme with the other two, so just went with that. Made up a word.
Yep.
If you jump on Facebook, that's where we're most active. Just search for the podcast on Haunted Hill on Facebook and join our community of weirdos and lovelies. And Legion have their own Facebook page as well. Just go to Legion Podcasts on Facebook as well. Wherever you're listening to us now is where we should always be available. Most podcast platforms like Spotify, YouTube, Podknife, Podbean, Apple, Podcast Addict, and all the usual bits and bobs. And we're on Instagram. If you go to Instagram, our handle is the podcast on Haunted Hill Insta, which is where we'll promote each of the episodes with a link as well. Deadbolt Films is our film production company, not just film. We also have comic books, short films, features. Got projects in the what's the word I'm looking for? In the cauldron.
Yeah,
right now.
There's so many projects on the go. Yeah, loads of things. Amanda, please just check out Amanda.
Go to Deadbolt Films on YouTube. That's our YouTube channel. Watch Amanda. Leave a comment. Like it. Share it. Tell us what you think. There's other bits and bobs on the YouTube channel as well. And our website is deadboltfilms.com. And our Instagram handle is deadboltfilms, all one word. Finally, as mentioned, we are on Patreon. We really appreciate our patrons. We'll get into who they are in just a moment. But if you want to support the show and help us keep moving and driving forward, you can become a patron, and for as little as $1 or £1 a month, you can become a patron, getting a free t-shirt in one of 3 colours sent out to you. You can also become one of the patron pick. Every 3 episodes, one of our patrons will get to pick the programming. So how many P's can I put in?
Yep.
Patrons can pick the programming, like RJ did for this episode.
I watched a movie the other day, and one character in it, every time they talked, I think it was P's or something, they said, everything they said was letter P. Every word they said when they talked. It was so weird. Obviously a choice. Weird.
I like that, though. That's cool. I like it when rappers do that. What else do you get if you're a patron? Sometimes you get our episodes exclusively early. You get our entire back catalogue is now on Patreon, and you can sometimes get exclusive content as well. So loads of that stuff on there. You'll also get your name read out at the end of each episode. So I will be thanking all of our patrons now by name, but not as Liam Neeson. Thank you very much to Dante, Don Collier, Matthew Godley, Jamie Jenkins, Kevin S5, Sarah Kay, Rachel, RJ McCready, and Lex Boo.
Thank you.
Thank you
so much. We do really massively appreciate it.
I will find you all, and I will love you.
We will find you and give you new episodes.
So yeah, that's it.
That's it. Thanks for coming along. As always, ladies and gents, non-genders and aliens and Bigfoots and everything else in the world, Loch Ness monsters, Nessie, everything. Thank you.
And remember, if you go on a holiday to Paris with your friend, call your dad as soon as you land.
Do.
Please.
Do.
And if you're feeding ice cream to your dad in the woods...
did it! Pop
a little bit on the end of his nose. It always makes him laugh.
Good night.
Get the vanilla ice cream on me.
Thank you for listening to the podcast on Haunted Hill. We will be back again real soon.